Here we go. It's time.
We need some of those celebrations.
We're back.
Everyone's going crazy like that.
It's game
Ladies and
on.
gentlemen, welcome back to
Here we go.
the European Technology Network. Today is Tuesday, 28th of July. It is 12 on the dot. We are on time.
We're back.
We are on time.
For day two.
So on time.
Happy days.
We are on time.
Let's tell you about Airwallex. Levi did his business banking behind with Airwallex, the all-in-one financial platform built for the pace of modern business. Multi-currency accounts, corporate cards, expense management, online payments, all in one platform. Go to airwallex.com.
We're going deep and we're going hard.
Yes, we are.
Just like always. Just like always.
Shall we run through the Airwallex agenda
yes.
today?
Well, I just want to give before we dive straight in, I know you're an eager beaver.
Sorry.
I'm also an eager beaver. Maybe just a quick review of yesterday. Let's
do it. Let's do it.
We'll give you guys the TLDR. How did it go down? What happened on our end?
We made a nice technology business programming network appearance.
We launched. We did TVPN. I actually kind of forgot we did TVPN. Okay, where do we start? So we launched the post. As of right now, we can review how we are looking. We did
300K.
Yep. 298,000 views, which is pretty good. I thought that was all right. I'm pretty happy with that. We were picked up by TechCrunch, who broke the news. We were picked up by Sifted, who wrote a great piece. And also, it's nice to have something from Sifted.
Yeah.
Nice to have something.
Thanks,
Sifted,
guys. We appreciate it.
Thanks for that. Really appreciate that. It's funny.
We
with
know
Sifted.
We've had our differences.
We've been back and forth. There was an article. And that's all right.
An article or two.
Article a few. A truce was made, and I think this is what's broken the truce. So we appreciate you guys. Thank you for covering the story, and I think it's just great for European tech for that to go out. But on a personal note with Sifted, they've covered Pigment, my first company. When I was hitting the phones, BDR style.
Let's go.
Reaching out, slinging some software,
Good on
doing
you.
the hard yards. Yeah, it was a good time. But also they covered, we partnered with them when I was at Embark on the Sifted Summit.
Amazing.
They covered Convergence. When I was at Convergence, the raise, they covered our pre-seed.
They did.
And now they covered our seed.
Look at
So
that.
weirdly enough,
For a man who's been sifted many, many times before.
these guys, every step of the journey, you're holding my hand, and I appreciate that. It's good to have you on side. But we also were in the
It's good to have
Telegraph,
you on the
which was a
team.
fun one. The Telegraph did use an older photo of us, which is a bit of a nostalgia, a bit of a throwback, actually.
Yeah, I don't know when that was actually posted. I think that was posted in January, but I don't even know the exact
the Christmas
date.
tree's there. So I think it was,
Oh, there you
it was
go.
That was my first clue. December.
Nice. That would, that would help a lot.
That was my first
I
clue.
forgot about the Christmas tree, to be fair. Anyway,
It was a good day. It was a great day.
It was a
And then we did
very good
TVPN,
day, and then we did TVPN,
which was a fun experience for us.
Yeah, nice little inception moment going
put a
on.
show
a show
in a
and a
show.
show.
How do you think the interview with TVPN went?
It was good. Lots of back and forth about strategy on building a live show. John was saying how it is very hard when someone sees a clip being posted on the account. Everyone's like, it doesn't seem too hard. It's just a clip. It's pretty easy. But getting up every single day to talk about technology and business,
6 a.m.
despite the fact that we love it, it can be hard. It's a grind.
Yeah.
So that was a nice kind of recognition for, hey guys, this is hard. Kudos to you. It was very classy of them. I like that.
It was a pleasure.
Thanks for having us on, guys. We
An honor and a
appreciate
pleasure.
it. Cheers in European style.
Although we still need to get used to running this, but there were a few.
Shots fired!
There were, a
few back and forth, but you can't escape the banter on that type of thing. But we put a show in a show, so I don't think that's ever been done before, where there was a show inside of a show.
We were native ad maxing hard. We had how many ads do they have now? Probably 11.
I think they've got around 11. Yeah.
Okay, let's go 11. We've got 8, so 19. It's pretty good.
So 19. Nice maths, by the way. 19 companies just got some great exposure.
Yeah, they did. And Framer got very good exposure.
Yeah,
we did a nice little Framer ad read. And we're going to do one now as well. Framer, build better sites faster.
The all-in-one platform where enterprise teams design, build, and ship production-ready websites. No dev handoff, no bottlenecks, no creative compromises. We migrated from ETN to Framer, and it was easy as pie.
It was a blast. Go to etnshow.co to get everything that you want from us. Indeed. Anyway, let's move on to the news because there's been some news. We got so caught up yesterday that we didn't actually talk about some of the stories. So the exploration company we're going to talk about. We're obviously going to talk about the Dario news as well. They just released the open weight letter. Project Panama we're going to touch on. There's been a bit of discourse on the timeline about that. NVIDIA investing in Ilia's safe superintelligence, $5 billion in cash, which is quite interesting. I was using Grok this morning to understand why just cash. Normally it's kind of more, you get maybe some discounts on chips or whatever it is, but this is cold hard cash, which is always nice and old-fashioned. Before we do that, I think we should move on to the Airwallex agenda to show you what we have on the show today. Ronan, do you want to run through it?
Absolutely. Opening us up, we've got Emma Mayer, the CMO at Bank. We're going to be talking about stablecoins. BVNK were recently acquired by MasterCard. A few questions around that.
We also acquired them as a sponsor.
We did indeed, and it's so good to have them on side. Laura McGuinness, partner at Singular, recently moved from Boulderton, one of the new partners over there at Singular. Going to be jumping on with her, find out how she's finding the new role. Ilya and Dan, co-founders and CEO and CPO at Dwelly. We've had them on before, and they're back. They're back and they're bigger than ever. They have just raised some money.
They have.
Hitting the wow for that. It was a Series B raise. We had them on for their Series A, so it's good to have them back. This was somewhere in the region of 170 mil, Series B. Not really sure what the valuation was, but we can dig into it with them on the show. Following that, we've got George Hugh, president of Fireworks AI. These guys are on a tear, 1.5 million Series D at a 17.5 million valuation, crossed 1 billion ARR in annualized revenue, and they recently signed Janson's open letter on open weights. So nice to touch base with them, find out what's going on, what their perspective on it is. Obviously, it's very positive. Sauraj Gambhir coming on, co-founder at Prior Labs. They had one of the largest financial outcomes for any European startup ever, which was a €1 billion acquisition with SAP. That acquisition has officially closed, which we love to see. They're going to be coming on talking about that, which can be really good fun. And then we've got James Hawkins, chief poster, co-founder, CEO at Posthog. He is the man with the many tweets. He is the man with the magic hands. He's going to jump on. We're going to no specific agenda with James. I just want to find out what's going on with his posting schedules, how he's hitting all his impressions, because his game is pretty on point and it's always looking very good.
Maybe we should hire him.
I think we can't afford him.
We could replace him with Max.
Well, Max can go and be CEO at
He's going to see. I think he's probably watching the show. He's going to see that in a second and be like, "Whoa."
Let's bring that down. I think if I just...
Thanks to Airwallex.
Getting used to it.
Anyway, let's move on to Anthropic's CEO responding to the open weight letter. Dario wrote this yesterday. Came out on Anthropic's announcements page, and we shall dig in. TLDR, let's pull this up if we can. TLDR, Anthropic has never advocated for a ban on open weight models. That is the kind of headline thing. May consensus is that he was getting some slack on the timeline, basically talking about yes, he is kind of supporting it. But then he explains why they're super, super dangerous and why this is very dangerous. So everyone was like, what does this really mean? And then we had some of Anthropic's employees kind of publicly say, hey, I disagree with this open letter. Again, probably not great for the whole narrative around Anthropic. So I don't know. It's kind of just added a lot more kind of mud to the water, to be honest. But anyway, let's move on. So let me read a little bit the stuff that I found super interesting. Open weight models that don't have dangerous capabilities are a public good, they said. They don't cost anything besides the compute needed to run them, and they provide value to businesses, developers, and researchers. Protectionist bans would not address my most serious national security concerns. Specifically, I am worried about two nightmare scenarios. So as you can see, he said, they don't have dangerous capabilities. They're a public good. They are good. But then he goes on to talk about the two nightmare scenarios, and then doomers and everything, as he has been kind of he's well known to be doomering on things. He goes on to say, my primary concern is the risk that authoritarian governments, not solely the Chinese Communist Party, although the CCP is clearly the most capable threat, build AI models that are more powerful than those built by the US and use them to achieve permanent military superiority or perpetrate incredibly deep repression of their own models. This concern is widely shared within the US government. Vice President Vance warned in Paris last year that authoritarian regimes have stolen and used AI to threaten their military intelligence and surveillance capabilities and the intelligence community's 2026 annual threat assessment found that other global powers' robust progress in AI is challenging US economic competitiveness and national security advantages. Now, if you think about when... who was it? I think, when Jensen went on Dwarkesh's podcast and he was talking about why they're not selling chips to China, that was a whole discourse around that. And, his kind of famous line, for sure, not that one. His famous line talking about, we are not a car, I did not wake up a loser.
That's such a banger line.
It's all about competition, right? It's like, why would I not sell my chips to China? Yes, it brings competition, but let's welcome competition. Dario he kind of contradicts himself and talks about competition later down in the line, saying, I'm welcoming competition. I think competition is a good thing. But then he's also contradicting himself, saying, hey, we don't want to be doing this with China. What if they use, what if they're distilling our models and building better ones? So it kind of just doesn't really do much to this whole argument, to be honest.
Yeah. He goes specific on a particular area around like the biological potential risk, like biologically, of this in a world which like offensive biological attacks would outpace defensive biological attacks. Whereas like, if it's open source, open weights, anyone can get their hands on it, anyone can use it. It's harder to safeguard, it's harder to track. It is a viable argument that makes sense on paper, reading it aloud.
Yeah.
But I do think like the context of the situation right now, you have to weigh in. I personally, I think it's kind of dope that he's just stood on business. And he's like, I'm not going to, even though everyone else is jumping they're signing it.
Yeah.
He's like, no, I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna write this thing up. I'm gonna ship it out. And
Signal said this as well. Signal came out and was like, Anthropic finally released their position on the broader AI ecosystem, particularly WRT, to open weights, which I dare say is entirely reasonable, ? There was a bit of discourse around this, whether this is reasonable. Matthew Berman said how so. Much of it is saying we don't want to ban open source models, and then immediately saying open source models are dangerous. So again, this contradiction.
Let's pull the Signal thing up.
We can pull it up. But yes, he's standing on business, but it's like, he's kind of standing, he's kneeling on business, in my opinion. He's kind of not really getting there, he's not getting on his feet because, yes, he hasn't signed the letter. He's now come up with his own personal statement, but then highly contradicts himself in his own personal statement.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, it's unfortunate for them given the position that they've taken previously. Or maybe you have to assume that they have to follow the previous narrative that they've set in the sense where it's like, our thing is the most dangerous thing in the world. We can't release it to anyone. Only certain governments can have access to it. Actually, that maybe is okay.
And you can see that people are being, people are catching on to that because even a journalist was like, hey, what if this is another marketing stunt? All this kind of doomerism. And they're thinking that other model providers are doing, kind of employing marketing, similar marketing stunts as Anthropic have. And so it's, again, just like creating this like really weird narrative where no one really knows if anything is true, to be honest.
I do as well. You could maybe, it's getting to a point where like this is such, as we said on yesterday's show, quoting Sam Hogg, these are operating as small sovereign states.
Sovereign states, yeah.
So they do have to be overly cautious in the way that they are coming across, or the comms are coming across, right? I mean, they will obviously take like great care in how they are communicating.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, I kind of think like, hey, this is a fair argument.
For sure.
For sure. This is a fair argument, for sure. Yeah, I don't know. I think that I think it's kind of cool that he's kept a consistent message. He's standing his ground. It would be very easy for him to just bend the knee, but you know, he's obviously not personally aligned with that. And then additionally to that, there will be certain exposures to his own business that would like threaten revenue and stuff like that.
The story goes deeper. Let's go to the tweet. If we can pull up the tweet from Diogenes, guns are dangerous, so I should only be allowed to have them. This is a great tweet. So obviously Anthropic came out and with the open letter and said there's been a lot of speculation about where we stand on open weights models. We've outlined our views in full here. Someone's retweeted and changed it with the inspect tool and says guns are dangerous, so only I should be allowed to have them, which is true. And it's what Matthias, CEO of Axel Springer, was saying yesterday in a really really interesting way to put it. He was saying, if you've got a knife, you can either use the knife to cut some fruit, or you can use the knife to kill someone.
That was a mad line.
Does that mean I should go and ban knives? Because of the possibility. I think we'll make a clip of it if we haven't already. I think I was like, that's cool. That's a great clip.
But
it's true. It's the same. It's the same thing here, right? It's like, come on. If something is dangerous, it's just understanding and using regulation to ways of using it to make sure that it's only being used for beneficial things.
True. I think in these particular circumstances, though, I do think that it's like, okay, it's a gun that you could pull the trigger and it could kill everyone on Earth in one shot. So it's like maybe we should all have some exposure to this and like work out how we're doing this in a safe, productive. Yeah. Guns that could potentially one day kill.
Yeah. So, okay, so this is interesting because this leads into, if you go onto the next post as well, the one just above about. So Nick posted this. Screenshots. David Sachs.
We've got to get Nick on.
All in. Yeah, we'll get him on.
We've been speaking behind closed doors.
We'll play some games. Nick, we'll do some Wii Sports. Nick, come and do some Wii Sports with us, pal.
So Nick says, bro, literally predicted this. And it's David Sachs saying the entire tech industry. This is great. I'm like, that was a great intro to
producer Sam. Can we make that a little bit shorter?
No, I love the length. It's awkwardly too long, but in a great way.
You guys need to agree on that.
Yeah, I think we keep it. We keep it a nice length.
Okay.
But look, Nick says, bro, literally predicted this.
Model
the entire
providers,
tech industry.
The model providers are arguing about open weight models, and we're arguing about Wii Sports.
Both are of the utmost importance, I believe. But Nick says, bro, literally predicted this. The entire tech industry, save for Anthropic, has come out. This is David Sachs' tweet. The entire tech industry, save for Anthropic, has come out in favor of open source AI. So what happens next? Will Anthropic change its lobbying efforts? Not likely. Now the gaslighting begins. Nobody is trying to ban open source. We just want to limit who can use it. We just want to limit who can contribute to it. We just want to limit how powerful those models can be. We just want to make sure the guardrails we lobbied for can't be removed. The net effect will be the same. They won't stop until they kneecap open source. The rest of the industry needs to watch these guys like a hawk.
I do think saying what you were saying, right? Like it's worth kind of treading on eggshells a bit.
I just do think you have to take into account the position that they put themselves in with the Department of War a while back, and we have to take into account their relationship with the state as well. I do feel like you should maybe follow, like, why is one incentivized to post around or create FUD around Anthropic for their post? Is that person connected to the state? Are they trying to align themselves with a certain party? I think you have to kind of look to, maybe I'm digging too deep into it, what Mr. Sachs here is saying. But I do think there would be, with watching game theory play out on such a large stage, this could be studied at university as a case study in a way. Like, what are the benefits of openly discussing this? What are the benefits of signing this? And not like, what are the benefits of being seen to sign this?
But it's not like it's not a single tier pro and con.
Oh no,
These
it's
things
like
have layers.
it's like a SPV
Advanced-
in Anthropic.
It's like advanced game theory.
It's like 9 layers to this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just to add to this game theory fire, Max Zeff says part of the OpenAI/Anthropic Cold War is that Dario rarely ever mentions OpenAI by name when speaking publicly. However, but in his latest blog, he links to a story about OpenAI/Hugging Face slash the Hugging Face incident when referencing serious alignment problems, which I guess indirect, shots fired.
Max Zeff does an excellent job, by the way, of covering this space. I would
Incredible.
love to have him on at some point.
Max, please come on.
But I like how that is. But this is a great example, and he's done an amazing job spotting this. The fact that he's been covering the stories extensively. He's been looking at how this thing has progressed, over the last sort of year and a half. He's very aware of the fact that, and like Anthropic are very aware of the fact, and Dario as well, very aware of the fact that this has been purposely done. Like the only time. How many interviews has he gone where someone's probably referenced OpenAI or had a chance to talk or say the name of OpenAI, and he's chosen or have been sort of taught through his PR training, like never to mention OpenAI. Maybe it's a personal thing, but he's never mentioned OpenAI. And then the one time that he does mention OpenAI is during the Hugging Face incident where they have an agent breakout.
He doesn't mention them. He just
links a story
he indirectly
about OpenAI.
links a story.
That's that was a conscious choice.
Do you think he told? I mean, whoever's writing, obviously Dario's writing this, but whoever's like actually putting this on the website, do you think he said the words OpenAI Hugging Face incident? Can you put this OpenAI Hugging Face article? Link this to serious.
Yeah, do you think he says it out loud when it's not even in print? So he'd have to mime out like, can you put the and then. Hugging Face link in there.
Yeah, next to reference serious alignment problems.
It's possible. He is consistent with his narrative, so we know that. So maybe he does have to mime.
At least he's consistent.
OpenAI. But I just thought it was really funny and a catch from Max Zeff over there, seeing that there has been some strategic element in the way. And is that a hint to the fact that he is a strategic thinker when it comes to comms? Is this a small clue? I don't know. We'll have to figure it out. We'll see how the story unfolds. I wonder if they're going to sign. It doesn't look like they are. It looks like they're not going to bow down to peer pressure. I think that the point of maximum peer pressure
they're not going to sign,
has surpassed now.
Yeah.
So they're in. The choice has been made, and they're sticking to the guns. They kind of have no other choice now.
They're sticking to the guns by contradicting themselves in a free letter, an open letter.
Yeah.
It's what's so confusing. So it's opened another discourse on the timeline where it's like, Anthropic employee disagrees with this. But then again, like,
not sure if he was
he disagreeing?
Anthropic employee, by the way.
True, fine. But like, what's he
LARPing?
Okay, what's he disagreeing with though? Like,
what is Dario disagreeing with?
No. This. Okay. OpenAI employee.
They should sign the thing. Like, they should be part of this. They should like.
Okay.
You think it's too overly representative, like their decision to not be a part of this?
Okay, fine.
And
level 1, not like level 2 of
level 8. I mean, we could go to level 8. I think we'd be here for a while.
I don't want to go to level 8.
But that is what's going on right now with Anthropic and Dario's piece. So we can move on to.
We have some more Anthropic.
It's more Anthropic
news. Do you want to pull this up?
Yeah, let's do that.
There's a tweet by Ollie Lehman. By the way, Anthropic's internal document on this literally said, "We don't want it to be known that we are working on this." It was called Project Panama.
Before we get into Project Panama, let me tell you about our friends over there at 11 Labs. Is the AI that communicates at a human level across every channel and modality, deploy conversational agents across customer interaction. We create on-brand content at scale in 70+ languages. Go to 11labs.io/ETN. And you can get a beautiful part of everything that they're doing over there. They are crushing, as always. Let's go on to the next news story then. Yes, it is the Panama viral story that seems, I think this was an older story, but it's going.
When was this released?
So it's picked up again. This is from a while back, but it is.
Let's go on to hedgy markets first.
The Bucks.
Let's go on to hedgy markets and read the first one before Ollie.
Oh, this big boy.
The big boy.
Let's do it. Yes. So this is hedgy markets. AI companies are bulk buying rare books, scanning them through high-speed machines that cut the spines off and shredding the originals. A service called ISBN-DB facilitates orders of up to 1 million books and keeps buyers anonymous. Pre-2022 books are premium because they're free of AI-generated text. A federal judge ruled the practice is fair use because eliminating the original means only one copy exists at a time. Anthropic hired the former head of Google Books partnerships to obtain all the books in the world. This came around during the dialogue, the conversations, the debates around copyright infringement. Are we breaking copyright infringements by training our model on pre-existing text, whether it's from artists, whether it's from authors? This has been a previous debate in the past with NFTs and stuff like that. Like, if you steal my art and turn it into an NFT, do I own that art? Do you own that art? The copyright infringement topic seems to, I guess, always come around if we're talking about some sort of recreated asset, whatever the asset is, whether it's financial, whether it's an information-based asset, which I guess we could say in this case, it's that's never going to go away. I think that we've seen judges, mainly this is in the US, I don't think we've had too many here in Europe, rule in favor of the majority of copyright infringements in the favors of authors, but not with artists in terms of generated imagery from Dolly, Midjourney, Grok, OpenAI, Anthropic, Gemini as well. But so Hedgie gives their take. This got me. A bookseller told 404 Media that rare books with almost no surviving copies are being fed into this pipeline. Books that survived wars, fires, and centuries of handling are being shredded so an AI can learn to write a better marketing email. ISBN-DB's website literally says AI company destroys 2 million books is not a headline that generates sympathy. And they still built an entire business around making it happen quietly. They offer NDAs as a feature. They coach clients to call it digital preservation. I've covered AI companies scraping the internet, torrenting libraries, and stealing music. This is worse because it's irreversible. You can re-upload a website. You can reprint a bestseller. You can replace the last 3 copies of an 18th century botanical text once someone shreds them for training data. And the judge said it's legal. So it's going to accelerate. We shred rare books and offer NDAs so nobody finds out is a legitimate business model in 2026. What a timeline. Hedgie. And then a hugging face emoji.
Hugging face emoji.
I wonder if that's kind of cryptic. What's he trying to say there?
Well, in he explained exactly what happened. Anthropic concluded that books were the cheapest way to build a world-class model because they gave Claude curated facts, structured arguments, and compelling stories, and writing an editor would approve of. Once they decided it needed books at a normal scale, its first solution was piracy. They downloaded 7 million books from online libraries, including LibGen. The judge wrote later that although Anthropic had legal ways to buy them, it chose piracy to avoid what Dario Amodei called legal practice business slog. That piracy created a massive legal risk. So in February 2024, Anthropic hired Tom Survey, as you mentioned, to find a legally safer way to obtaining all the books in the world. Turvey first contacted major publishers about licensing their catalogs. Those attempts didn't produce agreement, so Anthropic chose a route that required no publisher permission, buying millions of physical books through distributors and used book retailers. Within a year, Anthropic spent tens of millions acquiring scanning of books, including many rare and one-to-one titles. One vendor proposal targeted 500,000 to 2 million books in 6 months. To scan that many books within months, the vendors physically dismantled them. A hydraulic cutter removed each spine. The pages were trimmed to size, fed as loose sheets through high-speed industrial scanners, and converted into searchable PDFs. The paper remains were then sent for recycling. These PDFs were fed into Claude as training data.
Interesting. Well, let's pull up. Just go back. Do you agree with this?
No, not really.
You think that this is wrong? Do you think that this is copyright infringement? So this, I guess, in many ways, contradicts that. Well, does it?
I guess look, if they're not using it's wrong.
You think you're 100% wrong?
Yeah, I think so.
I think I agree. I think this is the fact that they're just destroying them is not cool, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think the fact that they're using them to train their models is fine.
If they're using them to train the models, go and train the models and then go and give them to, I don't know, people who want books.
Speaking of books, we have 3 here on the
You
table.
can give Dario some books.
So we're
donating.
We would like to donate some books to Anthropic. Got Musk's book here.
I don't know if he wanted. Would he
Charlie's
actually want
almanac.
to take Musk's book? I don't know.
No, we want to send them to you, but we don't want you to burn them.
Send them back.
Please don't burn these books. We will send you these as a gift. This is a peace offering. Yeah, we're going to send you these books, but we don't want them to be burned. Although we could burn them and absorb the knowledge from them. Could be worth doing.
That's a great idea. Let's
Maybe
remove the spine.
Okay, change of plans.
Let's remove the spine. Let's get a little.
We're going to
we'll
de-spine these books.
We'll get a little machine somewhere in the studio, and we'll have one of our interns to like feed in
the books.
pages.
Okay, we can do that, and we can absorb the knowledge from them, just like Anthropic is. New
Yeah.
plan then. We're
Boom.
going to burn these.
We'll
books.
be acting like Elon Musk.
The books are getting burnt. The books are getting burnt. But that is the Project Panna. Interesting story came up today. It's resurfaced and it's getting a lot of scrutiny. I imagine it's resurfaced because of Anthropic's in the headlines again. So people are trying to dig up dirt, trying to find stuff that they can pile on top of them. But we can move on. We can move on to the next piece that we have on the show to discuss today, and it is NVIDIA.
Before we talk about NVIDIA, let's talk about Hex, the AI analytics platform where trust meets insight. Hex helps teams of all sizes by giving teammates the ability to get insights from their data.
For sure.
Yeah, nice.
Love that one. Let's talk about NVIDIA. Let's talk about the bets they're making. Let's talk about Ilya Sutskever. I got to say, very quickly,
Go for it.
it is the most impressive thing, and I've seen a lot of people call this out on the timeline as well. It is the most impressive thing that they have managed to do this for as long as they have without a single leak of information.
And a single product as well.
They also have not released the product.
So it is the latest circular deal of the whole AI ecosystem. Last week, NVIDIA rival AMD said it would invest $5 billion in Anthropic, but this was a few days ago. So it's kind of like circular deal still going on, still happening. It's all cash, $5 billion. I guess it's a concrete kind of, hey, we have enough scale to go and take this money and go and actually do something with it. Agree.
Yeah, he's saying it's time to scale.
Yeah. Agree.
It's scaling time.
It's weird that it's not. It's crazy that he's been able to keep all of the research as like tight as possible.
But that's the most
and on the
impressive part.
timeline, there's some kind of, oh, is it this? Is it this? Lots of people are thinking that it's kind of like continuous learning. He's figured out how to have a compounding learning thing.
I just find it crazy that they've managed to do this without anyone leaving.
Yeah.
Anyone, you look at like thinking machines, for example. I think it's something like 4 of the original co-founders are gone.
Yeah.
That's everywhere. The information all over it, Wired are all over it, like WSJ is all over it, Financial Times is all over it. Like, if someone leaves or someone messages someone,
You know what? You know why?
Why?
It's because the name is in the name is safe.
Okay.
It's like, oh, these guys are doing pretty good. They're safe. Let's just leave them alone.
So imagine their onboarding process.
That's what Dario is trying to do, but it's just not working. It's not as good.
You can't escape that when you're on Google, can you? Everything's super public. But Ilya, I'm imagining like the fact that they've had no leaks, they must run this like a very tight
They'll be in the dark.
ship.
Yeah, they'll be in the dark.
So you're onboarding there. Maybe it's like, hey, when employees on board at our company, we give them a laptop. Maybe they get a quill and a pen. And it's like nothing leaves this room. You can't use any digital products. It's the only way they manage to stay safe. No. Well, they don't have laptops. You can't take your quill home. You can't take your quill and your piece of paper home.
That's it.
That's like they have to stay locked in the thing. I just find it insane how like every single other lab is seeing leaks every day. They're seeing people leave. They're seeing people join. We're not seeing anyone about anything. And like, where is all this information? How are they keeping it so secure? It's incredibly impressive.
Yeah. It is. It's a secret model. But this update, this $5 billion bet from NVIDIA, kind of fuels the speculation that SSI's brain-inspired models could influence future NVIDIA GPU designs amid the industry's trend of AI labs co-developing hardware together. Let's just quickly touch on Sutskever first, because the FT had a nice kind of description of his background. Widely regarded as one of the leading AI researchers of his generation, Sitzkova was instrumental in the creation of the technology that led to the breakthrough launch of ChatGPT in 2022. He co-founded SSI in 2024 after being closely involved in a boardroom coup against OpenAI's chief executive Sam Altman the previous year. Altman was quickly reinstated as CEO, and Sitzkova left OpenAI 6 months later. Sitzkova was one of the first AI engineers to grasp the so-called scaling law that showed LLMs became more capable with more data and computing power. In November, he suggested that the returns from that approach were diminishing. Now that compute is big, compute is now very big. In some sense, we are back to the age of research. He said in, I believe, a Dwarkesh interview. It was a Dwarkesh interview. So it's but they've now got to a point where they can go and scale this thing. And he's saying AI whose intelligence compounds from experience, that is like the main bet that they're making. And they've kind of got to a position where it's like, hey, give us your money. Let's go and actually get something into production. Yeah. Let's go and get a product out there. If we go into the Andrew Curran post, because it gives a bit of a nice backstory about it, and then there's some discourse on what they're actually doing, because obviously it's very secret. So it'd be interesting if anything actually does get leaked. Now, an investment's happened. They both didn't respond to comments for the FT article, so they're both just being like, no. I'm surprised the $5 billion has been actually like leaked, like the actual numbers being leaked. But,
it didn't come out in their actual comms that they put out. They said like a large sum or something like that. They didn't use the actual thing. But I mean, like, I think
in the article as well, it said like material. Like in the quote, it was like, it said large sum and then a material investment or something.
Yeah, it was a weird, it was a word. That was
it said both. They said both. Anyway, let's go on to Andrew Curran.
Andrew says, Andrew says, pulling together some of the information from various news reports and statements, we did get a little bit of new safe superintelligence information to speculate about today. Ilya said in a new statement to the press that their research is focused on overlooked aspects of how the human brain functions. In the joint statement after gaining access to the lab, NVIDIA said that SSI has been quietly advancing a new research direction to unlock a powerful and robustly aligned artificial intelligence. They also said the two companies will collaborate on the technical advancement of NVIDIA's current and future compute platforms by leveraging SSI's unique insights. Next-gen NVIDIA GPUs designed by SSI's secret model, ? It is certainly possible. Everyone is doing this now to some degree. Andrew finishes off. Additionally, Bloomberg reported that the $5 billion investment into SSI is being made directly in cash. Again, Andrew is always doing a good job at telling us what is going on in the world of AI.
Well, directly cash is it's like sometimes it's like a hard capital requirement, right? Like sometimes it's like restricted compute credit, sometimes it's discounted GPUs, whatever it is, like some form of like contribution, pretty common for like a chip maker in these deals. This is like cold hard cash, maximize like operational kind of freedom for Ilya to kind of do what he wants to do with it. So it sounds like it's like, obviously it's like a personal bet, but it's like, hey, we've got here, these are all the options, and there's obviously a lot of discourse around what those options are. Obviously being very secret about it. Just give me the cash, let me go and figure it out.
Yeah, I can pull up another tweet.
Let me go and scale. Actually, I'm just new to AI. Was like had a nice like highest probability guess.
Yeah.
If we pull that up,
we can bring this one down, Sam. I can pull this other one up now. That shows. Well, it's basically how did the deal get done?
Go for it.
And this did like 265,000 views. This is at Ziv_Ravid. He says, I wish I were in the room. Ilya. Jensen, my friend, we have reached the point where our research is worth scaling. Jensen says, sure. How many GPUs? 100K? Ilya says, more. Jensen says, 200K. Ilya says, more. Jensen says, 300K. Can you at least give me something, one hint, one benchmark where you're better? Ilya says, we are done with research. We need to scale. Jensen replies, anything, a number, a vibe. Ilya says, Jensen, you're a nice guy, but Sundar is standing right outside and he doesn't ask any questions. Jensen says, where do I sign? Ilya says, I'm honored by your conviction. See you next year. This is why I think it would be all just upfront cash. Just because, like, what else? You know, like they could just go somewhere else. They could just go shop it around.
Yeah.
And who in this world is more legible for capital? He is probably one of the most legible for capital individuals on planet Earth.
True.
So I just think, like, whatever terms he wants, he gets.
Yeah.
You know, I think
Take it.
What did they initially raise? I can't remember what the initial raise figure was. Like in the billions, with nothing. They still don't know if they have anything.
No, they still don't have a product.
Yeah. There's nothing there.
That has been confirmed in the FT article. They don't have a product. They just,
I'd say like him and Musk are probably the most legible for capital on Earth. Just in terms of like the name alone and the previous work history just demands money.
Yeah,
You
sure.
know, there are no questions, I think,
Yeah.
when you deal with someone of that caliber. It's just where do I send a check? Where do I wire that?
Let's talk about the guess of like what they're actually working on then, and the product, right? If we just pull up the I'm just new to AI, the
I've got
tweet.
it.
Have you got it? I think we finally have enough clues to reverse engineer Ilya Sutskever's secret SSI research. My highest probability guess: SSI has found a brain-inspired way to make an AI continually learn. Today's frontier models learn mostly during training. Afterwards, their core knowledge is largely frozen. They consume enormous data sets and still fail strangely when a problem falls outside of their training. SSI may have an early system that can, one, learn a new skill from very few experiences, recognize when an approach is failing before reaching the final answer, update itself without erasing old skills, transfer one lesson into completely different problems, and keep learning after deployment. Think of it like a gifted teenager instead of a finished encyclopedia. It may not begin knowing every profession, but it could rapidly learn any profession. The evidence lines up almost too cleanly. Ilya called poor generalization the fundamental limitation of current AI models, generalized dramatically worse than people. He described SSI's target as a super intelligent 15-year-old capable of learning any job. When asked how to create human-like learning, he said there is a machine learning principle he has opinions about, but cannot discuss publicly.
But can I just quickly say, how intelligent would a super intelligent 15-year-old be?
Pretty intelligent.
You know, how more intelligent would they be compared to like a 16-year-old?
No, but it's more like it's like compounding learning. So it's like it's early. I don't think it's like, hey,
are they like a genius? Like,
no,
are
but
they like the smartest person on
let's
Earth?
pick like a 15-year-old, and because a 16-year-old doesn't apply here, I think he's just plucked a fairly young, teenager number out there and gone, hey, this is just to demonstrate.
Super smart young guy.
Super
smart young person.
It's a model that will compound their intelligence over time.
I wonder if
he could have picked 16 if he wanted to. I assume he's just plucked a number
How
out.
smart would a super intelligent 15-year-old versus
13-year-old.
a genius 90-year-old? How would that stack up?
Probably
They have
genius 90-year-old is
They've
better.
You think?
Well, I mean, obviously, like depends what problems, right? Like
This could be the new benchmark. We should reach out to Arena if you do benchmarking, because this is a new benchmarking, I think. Hey guys, stoked to announce that the new model, Fable 3,
is as good as a genius 27-year-old.
Yeah, is a super intelligent.
But then
24-year-old.
Anthropic comes out with a super intelligent 28-year-old.
Announcing today.
We've got to year 28 of super intelligence.
Nearly super intelligent 90-year-old would be slightly again.
Yeah, but surely
you
you want younger. It would be reverse.
Capacity to grow into
because
the
you
role.
want a capacity to compound.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's
this is the big bet, Ilya's big bet.
He's like, look
this
how
is super
early
young.
we
Yeah.
are.
So
nice.
what I mean?
Yeah, hell yeah.
So
Okay. Yeah.
So when he comes out and says, hey, there's actually a super intelligent 14-year-old, that's when we know they're going in the right direction.
Love it. Love it.
So yeah, we'll see if he builds an AI that compounds intelligence over time. But yeah, super interesting deal. Very, very, very cool. Do you want to touch on the SSI merch before we move on?
I would love to do that because it's super important. I'm a huge fan of merch.
This is great.
This is not confirmed. Just a quick review. We've obviously got the SSI merch mouse on the left there. It looks like it's customized the clickers, and then this beautifully designed cap. I honestly think
they should do a beanie as well.
If you saw that cap in like a Balenciaga lookbook for 2026, I genuinely don't think it would actually stand out that much. Like I think you could get away with putting that in like a Balenciaga.
Is it real hair?
Lookbook. That's a great question.
Real Ilya Sutskever hair.
Will this mess up? No, that's fine. If it came with real hair, then that would be pretty good. I mean,
it looks like it's look, you can see it's like 3D.
Yeah, they've got some
it's coming out of the hat.
Small hairs here.
Okay, I've got an idea.
What?
If Ilya can actually have a model that's compounding in knowledge, he should have a hat and merch that compounds with hair.
With hair. I see where you're going with that. Yeah, I don't think that's a bad idea.
Hair growth. Ding dong, we've got a nice idea coming in.
This is the new merch. This new merch that I don't know when it's dropping. I'm a huge fan. I can't wait to wear that on the show if we manage to make it happen. But that's the new SSI merch.
The mouse doesn't look 3D. It's just like kind of it's like printed on.
Yeah.
It's just boring.
On there.
I mean, I don't know if you want a furry mouse, but
we have some merch coming actually.
We do.
I saw a few comments about that yesterday. People were saying
we should do merch.
Is there new merch? Because we did the caps. Maybe we could. No, we'll wait for the release. We have some merch on the way.
Indeed, we do. Anyway, we didn't touch on this article yesterday. It came out a few days ago, but we wanted to touch on it now about the European startup with SpaceX ambitions aiming for a $2 billion valuation. Before we touch on that, let's talk about the good old Polymarket. Polymarket, the world's largest prediction market. Stay informed and profit from the knowledge. Go to polymarket.com. Can we pull this up or no? Should we not pull this up?
Let's not pull this up. Maybe just the headline stuff. But European startup. This is the exploration company. It doesn't really get discussed too much. When we looked on X to find more news around this, there was limited. But it's got SpaceX ambitions, aiming for a $2 billion valuation. And it's nice to see a European space company. We had Atmos Cargo. They were meant to come on the show. There were some problems with scheduling. They had a launch. And the launch was a success for them. That was about 6 months ago. But it's nice to see the exploration company make the headlines and start to really take on some serious money, some serious funding. This is actually connected to the scale-up fund that EQT is leading. So this would technically be the first investment made, I think, from this. But we will be speaking to EQT very soon to discuss this and get someone on from their side. But this is from Ivan Livingston, who does great work over there at the FT. An ambitious European startup is in talks to raise hundreds of millions of dollars of funding for its plan to develop reusable space capsules in a bid to challenge Elon Musk's SpaceX. The exploration company is discussing raising at least $300 million in new money that could value the company at more than $2 billion once the fresh investment is taken into account.
Is that an EQT ad as well? Damn, that's clever.
Oh, what? Hold on.
Is that the
Look at
EQT?
That.
It is. It is the EQT.
This is genius work. Hold the phone here.
Let's go.
Let's give it up for this EQT ad.
Beautiful.
So they've embedded. And then are they mentioned in the?
They are mentioned. Yeah.
EQT declines to comment, but
they have an
happy
ad.
to put an ad in. If you were thinking about
they have a thing at the bottom. The Scale Up Europe Fund was designed to invest in promising European companies in competitive sectors such as AI, quantum technologies, and semiconductors. EQT Chief Executive Per Franzen told the FT that he expected the fund to surpass its planned €5 billion target due to strong investor interest. And they're using all that €5 billion to chuck ads in the FT. Congrats to them.
I love that.
Let's talk a little bit about TEC. The company has been competing to develop Europe's first reusable capsule to transport cargo, and the hope is eventually people to the International Space Station. TEC last raised about $160 million in 2024 without disclosing its valuation.
Would you?
That was in November 25.
Would you get in the rocket?
But yeah,
You would.
I think so. Yeah.
You'd fly like passenger flight through space.
Maybe not the first one, but yeah.
You'd want.
I mean, well, look,
Test it out
100% in our lifetime there will be, domestic flights.
Well, I think that they're doing them already, right? Like Blue Origin flew. Katy Perry came back and she kissed the ground, but she hadn't left orbit. If anyone saw that was
She's an astronaut now, guys. Come on.
She is.
That's classed
She's
as
more.
national.
She's more of an astronaut.
She's
than us.
also she also stood with Anthropic when the Anthropic OpenAI Department of War fiasco went down.
That's how I felt when she stood with Anthropic.
But that video of her getting out the. I love this song. I love this noise. It
we
should
make
be our
this the
outro.
ETA and outro.
I love it so
we
much.
should.
Yeah, that video of her when she comes on the ground and she like straight away on the knees, like kissing the ground. So good to be back type thing. I think they were. I can't remember how long the flight was, but they were off the ground for like 5 minutes, I think. Which is super funny.
It's a long time.
They've got a good diagram here on the FT. They've been doing this recently quite a lot. They've been putting some visual help in just to help the readers. I can't remember.
Does a capsule get to orbit?
The other one was the data centers in space one.
Sure, that was a very good one.
That was interactive as well. That was
Incredible,
really cool.
yeah.
How a capsule gets to orbit. So here we go. We have the launch. The capsule intended for orbit is launched atop a rocket made up of separate stages. It starts to sort of strap off other areas, other elements of the rocket it was using, and then bosh, it's in the orbit
air.
up there.
It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that.
That's true. It
I
is
would,
just as
if
simple
you're,
as that.
if
It's
you're
not
in-
rocket science.
If
Although
you're
it
in-
literally is rocket science. So
Nice.
I have a thing for this again. Hold on. This seems to be the only time we're using this. It's when I make a joke, and it's not that funny.
and nothing really happens.
But yeah, it's my cricket.
Let's jump into the timeline. Let's see what's going on in the global town square, aka X. The White House had a Rick and Morty style
this is
video
insane.
that came out. Can we pull this up? Yeah, here we go. Let's go full screen. Is that better or no?
Can we full screen? If I
So when we watched this yesterday, this was such.
okay, cool. We're just gonna full screen this instead.
Full screen.
Luke, you can send it over.
How do I do that?
No, you send the link to Sam.
Oh.
So the White House put
It's not
out
rocket science, guys. Come on.
Yeah, it is not rocket science. The White House have created a Rick and Morty styled, I don't know what I'd call it, a launch video, a hype edit, a
Hype edit,
marketing
hype edit.
Stunt, but they say hop in. Best dimension yet. I will say it's actually made pretty well.
I love.
good.
This was very nostalgic. The song was very nostalgic.
Oh
as well.
really? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I thought it was interesting to see. I don't know. It does get them a lot of attention. I don't think it's the best attention though. I think people were retweeting this.
Yeah, it's like,
saying,
what kind of attention do you want?
"Guys, yeah, what are we doing here? You know, this is literally the White House making some interesting edits. Maybe we can just play it normally if we're having some. Yeah, let's just play it like this.
Let's
We
just
have it
play.
here.
The music is just so. Why is his hand so big? Artemis, let's go. I mean, it really doesn't do well for the White House narrative, does it? MAGA, let's go. Incredible.
What's the President Donald Trump outro they have there? Yeah, no, good to see that they are, spending their time wisely over there at the White House. They must have like just a bunch of young.
It's just like, hey,
TikTok editors.
go and ship whatever you like. Have fun.
But the mad thing is, not to get slightly political, but that is how leaning into stuff like this is how you like win elections now.
Yeah.
Like just conquer short form media, conquer short form distribution.
Go and do it.
It's incredible. It's incredible to see.
Indeed. Let's talk about some fridges before we jump into our first guest.
Do we want to go straight into the fridges?
Well, do we have any other time, or do we? We have time.
Yeah, we have time. We have. Well, I kind of wanted to go through Bernard Arnault's going direct.
Okay, let's do that. Let's do go
message.
direct.
So Lulu put out this piece on the LVMH CEO basically going direct, and it was a masterclass on what to do when you don't really care. You don't need to care. You have everything that you need. You have all the money in the world. You have all the domination in the world. You don't really need to be bothered by getting hounded by Le Monde or other journalists or just running around. But Lulu is known for her position of going direct. She's taught people to go direct. She works with some of the biggest CEOs within tech on how to authentically communicate with their audience. We've been following her for quite a while. She wrote a very viral article, I think, at the start of the year. Maybe it was slightly earlier. It was the one with like all the robots from that Will Smith.
So I want to say it was off. I want to say it was just right at the end of the year.
Yeah. What's that film called? I forget that film with Will Smith and all the robots. Completely forgot it. Does anyone know that?
iRobot?
Yes,
iRobot.
It is
Nice.
iRobot. Look at those guys. They're locked in back there, aren't they? Headphones in, not a peep. Wired in. Can we hit the cam? Look how wired in our guys are right now.
They're doing more work than we are. Oh,
Look at that.
you can kind of see them.
Kind of see them there. They're in the dark. They're in the
Yeah,
cave.
look at
them,
that.
Locked in.
It's
Good
great.
to see it. Back to Lulu. Back to the article. So, for those who don't know, Le Monde have been hounding Bernard over this past few weeks. They've been writing pieces about him. He said that they've pushed resources into sort of trying to uncover some dirt on him, perhaps. Investigative journalists following him around, reaching out to people that he knows. And they broke the news. LVMH Press broke the news the other day. This is thank you, Bernard Arnault's reaction to the investigation by Le Monde. And it was very thankfully translated, I think. If this can...
Yeah, he did a great job. I think it was... Did you read all of this?
Yeah, I read the whole
So
thing.
good. So well
The ending
written.
line was brilliant.
He
Let him cook.
Yeah.
seriously
Let him cook
cooked.
now.
Like,
He did
genuinely
Let
cooked.
him
Because
cook.
it
I
was...
said, let him cook.
That one's pretty long.
That was pretty long. He just came out with incredible arguments and didn't kind of like he wasn't even arguing. He was just accepting. I think right at the beginning of the letter,
He
if I'm
opened
not
it with
mistaken,
a
thank you.
Yeah.
He says thank you for making for making these kind of statements. Now let me kind of re-engineer them to my benefit.
So let's look at Lulu's breakdown.
Incredible.
So
Incredible.
Lulu, as
If
you
you haven't
say,
read it, go and read it.
One of the masters of going direct, Lulu says, Bernard Arnault's going direct is remarkable and worth reading in full. And it's worthy of a round of applause. The single most impressive thing is that Arnault personally, not by a company spokesperson, responds to a major hit piece without at all accepting the role of defendant. So he's not opening up and saying sorry or apologizing. I'm not exactly sure what would be apologizing for. He's building a very successful company. Does not flinch. He starts by giving the rebuttal a title, thank you, not addressing recent allegations or whatever, but implying the expose has backfired and made him look good.
Mission failed. We'll get him next time.
Too right. They used to call
We might
me-
not get him next time because this guy is just too
I'll
good
never
at
get
going
him.
direct.
Yeah, we'll have to change that.
He's
We'll have
too
to change
good.
that. They used to call me the Terminator. I prefer the last royal family. It's more elegant and probably better for Dior sales. That's like...
Put that in the Louvre. That is too good.
Tone stays measured and bemused throughout. It's giving Logan Roy. It is giving Logan Roy. That's a good comparison. Lampoons the allegations. His wry humour makes the expose seem silly and theatrical. His tone is like he's divulging a stupid child. He opens with, apparently I'm the head of the last royal family of France, and drops gems like, at the Arnault family, apparently we don't argue, we conspire. We don't deliberate, we plot. It's novelistic. What in an ordinary family is simply called Sunday lunch becomes, in our case, an intrigue. It's a matter of vocabulary. And then also he reframes the whole narrative from billionaire to steward, from an oligarch pursuing power to patriarch preserving an institution built by and for others. He talks about the history of LVMH here and how it's the 40,000 employees and the team globally. But you describe power as though it were a prize to be won. I experience it as a responsibility to be passed on. The houses entrusted me to be older than I am. Most will outlive me. My role is to hand them on stronger than I found them. That is why I reject the idea of dynasty. Dynasties exist to preserve privileges. We work to preserve craftsmanship. He also broke his hiatus, which many people seem to be doing right now, not to sign Jensen's letter, but to come out and just say, hey, I'm here. Like, what's up, guys?
This is
if
me.
you want to take some shots, I'm right here.
I'm now going direct.
Let's do this. He's going direct. I don't know whether he's been advised to do that. I don't know whether he's just decided to do this anyway. But he's taking it on the chin. He's rocking it like a fan. And
That was not meant to happen. That was meant to be a.
we're still getting used to our soundboard.
Yeah,
which you can,
I can't find the boxing one. That was meant to be the boxing one.
Oh, the boxing one. Yeah.
I thought the buzzer was. There we go.
There you go.
He was taking it on the chin.
He's taking it on the chin like a
Nice.
champ. And yeah, he's done a remarkable job. This went incredibly viral, by the way. Initial post, 7.2 million views for a press release and a response. That's insane. There's not AI. Like, I don't think anything else is going that viral these days that isn't AI. So that is what I would call a masterclass in communications and comms. He's gone direct. He's taken it on the chin. He's joked around. He's reframed the whole argument. He's done a very good job. That is probably why he is an incredibly successful and powerful person.
The final line on this is Arnold shows how masterful he is at wielding power. That is cool. That's very cool.
Yeah. A lot you can learn.
And he just comes on X, just
He also has a slight
simple stuff.
His ending message just to Le Monde. As for me, rest assured, I shall keep doing the Monde crossword, which that at least is excellent. He's like, even just throughout the whole thing, he's having jabs, he's pulling stuff on them.
He's jabbing in a very classy way.
He is indeed.
But anyway, I think we have our next guest on. Someone's at the door.
Someone's at the door. Can we bring them in?
Is Emma here?
She is. 1 second.
Here we go. We're
We
getting
are
first guest
bringing
on
Emma
of day 2.
into
Let's
Zeus.
do this thing.
There we go. Emma, can you hear us?
Hey.
I can. Hey guys, how's it going?
It's going
We're
good.
great.
So good to see you again.
Yeah.
You've seen the studio. You were hanging out here the other day.
I have. Yeah, it's so impressive. You guys have done an amazing job.
Legend.
Huge congrats on the round.
Thank you so
We
much.
appreciate
Today
it.
was a
Thank
fun
you.
day. It was pretty chaotic, but I think it went pretty well. In the
Yeah.
end.
Yeah. It was great. We had a good time.
Yeah, it was a good day. All
And how are you? How's everything going at BVNK? I'm sure it's, you guys are ripping as usual.
Yeah, it's been a really exciting year for us, as I'm sure you've read in the headlines.
Yeah.
Lots of exciting things always happening in the stablecoin space. People are calling it a stablecoin summer. Don't know if you guys have heard that one.
That is
The
good.
winter. What is
This
the winter over?
This is yeah. This is we're on the comeback. You love to hear it. Well,
We're on the up.
why don't you, for the viewers and the listeners at home who maybe aren't aware of BVNK and what's been going on in the news recently, introduce like your role, what you do there, and then also what is BVNK for those who aren't in the loop.
Yeah, sure. So I'm the Chief Marketing Officer at BVNK. So I head up all of our growth, marketing, and brand teams. And BVNK, we build stablecoin native payments infrastructure. So we work with all different types of businesses across the world to help them build and launch new financial products and move money globally using stablecoins.
Amazing. And I think that, we've had a lot of crypto-focused, stablecoin-focused individuals on the show in the past. We've seen a resurgence. I think when we came in and you spoke to us, like we were talking about, like what does that agentic world look like? But aside from that, there's a lot more stuff going on in the industry. How have the last 6 months been for you? Like, how are things changing? The discourse around stablecoins in general, the acceptance of this in what many would sort of reframe as like legacy institutions. How is the world moving? Like, how are you seeing it move?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely been an interesting couple of years, actually. So I joined BVNK about 4 years ago, and I've had like a really front row seat to what I would call the stablecoin evolution. And I think the phase that we're in now is what we're calling the infrastructure phase. But maybe I can just like hit rewind and talk you through, I guess, like what the other phases of adoption have looked like. So in 2022, I think what we were seeing was a lot of trading and brokerage platforms using stablecoins to fund exchange accounts and move money in and around the crypto ecosystem. Yeah. And then fast forward 2 years, we started seeing our customer base change quite a lot. And we were seeing a lot of payments companies and fintechs start to use stablecoins to move money globally for their own treasury needs, to pay suppliers. And then fast forward to today, and one of our fastest growing products is the digital dollar account. And businesses are embedding this directly into their products and exposing this functionality to their customers. So this phase, I think we're calling stablecoins as financial infrastructure. And that's been an incredibly interesting shift. And I think a few different forces driving this, right? Like it's kind of easier than ever for businesses to build and reach a global customer base from day one. I think thanks to the internet, obviously we're more connected than ever. And we've also had a really clear wave of regulation come through across the world, specifically around stablecoin payments, which has made businesses a lot more comfortable to come off the sidelines, participate, actually see this as a trusted payments rail. And so, yeah, I think it's kind of a confluence of all of these things coming together to really just accelerate what's happening in the space.
Mm-hmm. And now, like from kind of hitting that milestone of being a trusted use for businesses, right? What's the next step then? Like, I assume like further adoption is in the roadmap. You guys want to kind of build on that trust and show more customers that this is possible. What's the kind of next step now that kind of trust milestone is hit?
Yeah, I really think the next step is about distribution. And I think, enabling stablecoins to reach a lot more consumers and businesses than they ever have before. But I don't actually think it's really about stablecoins, right? It's about giving people access to the best rail for the job.
Sure.
And I think eventually actually stablecoins will disappear and no one's going to really talk about stablecoins. You won't think about them as much as you would think about what card network that you're using. Mm-hmm. I think distribution is really the next step to like mainstream adoption. And obviously, when you have companies like MasterCard entering the conversation, they reach basically every business and consumer in the world. They're like one of the most trusted and ubiquitous payment networks. And I think when you kind of have companies like that entering the space, it really makes everything seem a lot more real and more tangible. And I think makes way for kind of these new forms of networks where you can exchange any kind of value.
Yeah. And speaking of distribution, if I'm correct, BVNK has released new data, shows embedded wallet volume has grown 263x, which is quite considerable growth. Can you break down for us, like those new to the space, specifically embedded wallet, what is it? And also this growth trajectory, is like, how are you guys doing the numbers like this?
Yeah, let's talk about it. So I think the best way to talk about an embedded stablecoin wallet, it's just a digital dollar account that a business can put directly into their product and then expose these capabilities to their customers. So enable them to send, receive, store, convert stablecoins, maybe alongside a fiat balance without having to leave their platform. And I think the reason businesses are doing this is it's just a really smart way to expose new financial capabilities to your customer base. I think when we look at growth, it did really take us by surprise, right? We launched this product last year. It went from 0 to 3.5 billion in payments volume really quickly.
Whoa.
But I actually think, it was like the most interesting thing was who was driving the growth, right? Because I talked earlier about our customers previously had been trading in brokerage platforms, and then we started seeing payments companies, and then we started seeing enterprise payments companies and fintech. So it was like our customer base completely shifted, and 75% of the volume flowing through that product is coming from these like enterprise payments companies and fintechs.
Yeah.
And another really interesting thing, which I think underscores what I was talking about earlier, like businesses are global and they need to operate across multiple markets at once, is over half of the payments on our platform are actually happening outside of banking hours. Because commerce is happening 24/7, not just like Monday to Friday. Some really interesting things, and there's some really incredible companies building on top of this technology as well.
Yeah, 100%. I wanted to ask about, you guys, you and the MasterCard team are working super closely now. What does the kind of the growth of agentic commerce and all of that kind of stuff kind of bring, does that bring more opportunity? How are you guys kind of taking that as an opportunity to go and allow businesses to do more with whether they're building with agents or they're using agents or that they have customers that are building with agents? How does that all kind of fit into the kind of growth story?
Yeah, so we talked about those 3 waves of adoption, trading and brokerage, payments, infrastructure. I think the 4th wave of stablecoin adoption is going to be this autonomous economy. I think we all know that agents, eventually, I think there's a future where all of us have a fleet of agents doing tasks for us on our behalf, but not just researching things. They'll be comparing prices, negotiating deals, and paying for things.
Sure.
But you just don't want to give an AI agent unlimited access to your money, right? That's pretty scary. You need to set some conditions. You need budgets. You need permissions. You need safeguards. And stablecoins are programmable, and so you can set these human conditions, and then they won't execute a payment until they're met. So it kind of makes them the perfect piece of payments infrastructure for AI agents to let them participate in the economy. So yeah, I think we're pretty excited about that future. I think we're still a little way away, but it's definitely something that we're building towards.
Let's, if we can, just quickly touch on the MasterCard acquisition. Whatever you can share on this, we'd love to hear. It's obviously really exciting news. More openly, what do you think this means? MasterCard, legacy brand in the space, one of the most popular brands in the whole world. What is it? Is this was this a tipping point for the industry, not just for BVNK? Like how was this? How did the industry respond to this? What do you think it means for it and the future as well?
Yeah, I mean, from our perspective, the response has been overwhelmingly positive. We're incredibly excited about this deal. I think our long-term ambitious vision has always been to get to $1 trillion in payments volume, right? And that sounds kind of insane. We're 4% of the way there today. We're doing close to 40 billion in annualized payments volume. But when you have the distribution of a company like MasterCard, it starts to kind of seem, maybe it's possible. And I think we're so aligned.
Did they turn around and just go yeah, we could probably make that happen?
Not quite, but I think we definitely are aligned in they have just as big of ambitions for us as we have for ourselves. I'll put it that way. And I think we're extremely aligned with them that it's not a conversation about fiat versus stablecoin. Cards are not going anywhere. Fiat's not going anywhere. Banking is not going anywhere. I think what the future does hold is these systems need to be completely interoperable, and then people just have better choice and they can use the best rail for the job. And like I said, I think stablecoins hopefully eventually will disappear into the background because all of that complexity is just going to be abstracted away. So yeah, it's a really exciting time. We're thrilled. We think MasterCard is an incredible business. So
Really
see what the future holds.
I wanted to ask, kind of beyond the insane kind of growth numbers, what are those data points that you guys are kind of looking at and thinking, whoa, this is kind of crazy that we can see this data, or what are the data points that are moving that you're really fascinated about, or you guys are using as benchmarks as performance and how you guys are doing and growing? Would love to kind of dive deeper on what you guys are kind of specifically looking at in terms of growth numbers or whatever it is.
Yeah, I mean, our North Star has always been payments volume.
Yeah, sure.
And I think what I mentioned before, around adoption, who is actually driving that growth, and the fact that our complete customer portfolio has shifted now to being predominantly fintechs and enterprise payment companies versus trading platforms, which it was 4 years ago.
Yeah,
that's kind of something that we track and look at quite a lot, as well as which use cases are driving the most growth. I think there's a ton of data about stablecoin market caps, transactions on chain, but the actual use cases, how are people using these stablecoins? Are they using them to fund trading accounts, to pay out salaries, to settle suppliers? So we really track quite closely use case data, and we publish a lot of that information publicly. So those are the types of things that we're paying a lot of attention to at the moment, just really trying to understand the customers, the use cases, and make sure that we're building in the right direction.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, what is there something that you guys get incredibly excited about over the next 6 months? Any big releases? Anything that you can share in terms of what are you pumped internally about right now?
I mean, yeah, obviously there's a lot of energy going into the MasterCard partnership. That's something we're very excited about. We do have a bunch of new functionality coming out on top of this embedded wallets product that I talked about, this digital dollar account. So I know that, yeah, there's a couple of releases planned for the next couple of months in that space.
Yep. And then a question that's more for you personally and less the brand itself, but CMO at a crypto financial fintech, like how does that role work? How is it evolving? Is it changing today compared to it used to, like how it used to be run? Like what does that look like?
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody is going through the similar change at the moment where we're using AI a lot more to do the boring stuff, to do a lot of the repetitive work and to kind of scale the impact of our teams. I think for me, like the job of marketing and being a CMO at a fintech is all about building trust and like building credibility. You want companies to be able to trust you to move their money and to do that every day. And so that's really what the team like spends a lot of time focusing on, and really helping businesses to understand this technology, understand the benefits that they can get from it, understand how they can use it and how they can take new products to market for their customers. So it's a lot of education and trust and credibility building. That's kind of what I focus most of my time on, to be honest. Yeah, I think the space has definitely changed a lot. I've been like in marketing and fintechs for almost my whole career. And I've always been a generalist. I feel like now you're kind of rewarded more than ever for being a generalist than in the past.
That's interesting because I feel like from my perspective, previous place that I worked was consumer focused, but it was AI focused. But looking at like traditional SaaS marketing specifically, like back then it would be like what you just run like a ABM campaign or you put maybe a billboard up, but like everything now seems to be trending towards something more socially focused. If it's like virality on a social platform, whether it's short form media, Instagram Reels, TikTok, or even X itself, maybe not as much Facebook, I don't think, but how are you seeing marketing evolve over the years in I guess broadly speaking, really? Like, are you guys using AI for marketing? Is that?
Yeah, we like every kind of person in the team has their own agents helping them do stuff, right? Whether it's creating and researching content or competitors or like updating battle cards, everyone's kind of using it in the team in their own little ways. I think kind of the biggest change with marketing that I've seen in the past year is just there's so much trash and junk out there now because it's so much easier for people to create a huge volume of content. And I think the brands that really stand out to me are the ones that have really high taste level and are focused on quality and telling people useful things that actually help them do their jobs better. Yeah. And that sounds kind of basic, but like the majority of the content I see out there today, on whether it be like social or reports or landing pages or like you say ABM campaigns, I think people underinvest in like the quality of the stuff that they put out, and I would love to see that change. I would also say like physical in-person events are back big time. Yeah. Like people want to talk to you, look you in the eye. They want to shake your hand. And I love that because I'm definitely feeling like I want to be more in person now more than ever. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens in that space and how people's event strategies start shaping up.
Yeah, we've always said it's like, because the barrier to create has gotten so low, like the barrier to entry to create content has gotten so low that naturally we'd kind of seen a decrease in just like the mean, like the average of quality of content, because everyone can just, whether it's like vibe coding software that, connected to like marketing within that, like any of these stuff, like the barrier to create in general is just lower. So, we've always said that it's never been easier. Like, yes, that's not, you can argue whether it's a good thing or a bad thing because the quality overall will be lower, but it's never been easier to stand out because, well, the bar's shifted a rung down.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's kind of harder too because everybody's like publishing such a massive volume of content. I just think most of it's not that good. So we need to do better, guys, marketers.
Yeah. That's true.
Step
That's
it up.
true.
Let's go.
Do better.
Do we count as marketers? Are we market? I guess our product is inherently.
Yeah, I guess we are. We're helping market BVNK.
Yeah, but are we marketers? We're not journalists.
Just like
Just co-host.
I don't know. Yeah.
Just show host.
Seems like you guys have some soul searching to do on that one.
Yeah, maybe
we're gonna have to figure it out.
we gotta take some time.
Let's maybe chat offline about what we're actually doing.
Do
Here.
some soul searching.
Yeah.
Look, we're coming to the end. Where can we sort of send people? Where can we point people towards? Anything that you
Do a
guys like
BVNK ad read for us. We'll pull
Yeah,
up
we can hit the.
Ready?
Wait, hold on. Boom! Look at that. Wait, can you see that?
Gorgeous.
Emma?
I can see it. This is amazing, guys. I love it. Great marketing. Yes,
Look at
if
that.
anyone does want to learn more about these embedded digital dollar accounts that I spoke about, we actually have a really cool new report that we just published on our website. So go check that out.
Sweet.
You
Love
heard it
it.
here first. Emma, thank you so much for joining us. It's been such a pleasure.
Thanks, guys.
Nice
See you
one.
soon.
Have a good
Bye.
one. Cheers.
See you.
Emma
That
Mayer,
was
CMO at Bank, ladies and gentlemen.
Here we go. BVNK, accelerating the global money movement. BVNK provides enterprise-grade stablecoin infrastructure for global businesses, enabling fast, compliant payments and digital asset solutions worldwide. Go to bvnk.com. Next on the show, we have Laura, but she's not coming in for another 10 minutes. So let's keep going down into the... what have we got?
Next on the docket,
Let's do some German billionaire news.
we do have some news about a German billionaire. Let's see if I can pull this one. We don't have to pull this one up, but this was a story that was in Forbes the other day. So this was headlined: "This billionaire made 360 million selling his psychedelic company to Eli Lilly." This is coming off the back of a trend around nootropics. I mean, everyone has the classic ayahuasca trip in SF, discover yourself. You either go insane or you go on to build $1 billion company. I don't think it is as binary as that, but those seem to be the two paths that you can go down. So this guy has basically, we can pull that there. Yeah, 12 years ago, Christian Angermayer took a mushroom trip that inspired him to try to create FDA-approved medicines from psychedelic drugs. Now, Big Pharma is making a $2.8 billion bet on his vision. Christian Angermayer, the German investor, was on the beach on the Caribbean island of Canaan with 3 friends contemplating whether he should take magic mushrooms. Before he made his decision, he called a professor he knew who studies psychopharmacology. He explained to Angermayer that he was in the perfect setting and was of healthy mind and that he should try it. Imagine how rich you have to be to just have your own personal professor who studies psychopharmacology on speed dial whilst you're away on a Caribbean island. So Angermayer, who says he feared he would end up freaking out and living as a farmer in Argentina, sprinkled some mushroom in yogurt, ate it, and let the drugs take hold. I always say that I need to build a huge mushroom statue there, says Angermayer, now 48 and worth $1.2 billion. It was the most important positive experience of my life when I came out of the trip. Although it took me years to get the thesis right, I had the first inclination that if it helped me this much as a happy, healthy person, I can see the validation for how it can help people with mental health issues and beyond. Angermayer then spent the next 3 years working on that thesis. December 29, 2017, he took another trip. This time he came away with the message from the divine: go forward, there is no downside. That sounds kind of intense. TLDR, he ended up turning this into a company, and he ended up selling it for a lot of money. The company, Atai Beckley, Angermayer's pharma company, is now known. It was acquired by Eli Lilly, the world's most valuable pharmaceutical company, famous for the depression blockbuster Prozac and the weight loss drugs Zepbound and Mounjaro. For $2.8 billion, he sold this thing for. As part of the deal, Eli Lilly could pay an additional $1 billion in milestone-related payments. Angermayer's 15% stake in Atai Beckley means he will receive around $360 million pre-tax from the deal. Eli Lilly will now own the experimental drug BPL-003, a fast-acting nasal spray containing mebufotenin benzoate, a form of 5-MeO-DMT. That is in phase 3 development as a medicine for treatment-resistant depression. Phase 3 trials are expected to start in 2029. I remember these phase trials when, I think I might have mentioned it to you off cam once, but when we were at university, and the money that we'd receive from the government for like student, which we now owe back, obviously, for our student loans, me and my friends would put that in trading 2-on-2 and basically buy pharma stocks a few days prior to their phase trial results for like phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4, I think.
And
some
just
of them go
bet on the
to,
fact
and
that
then they have like
they get past the phase.
Yeah, because like most of them were passing phase 1, and they'd always pump like 20%.
Well, like you'd never go to a phase and be like, hey, like we're ready to do a phase like test without thinking you would pass it. I assume
It was a gamble.
I'm saying in phase one is fairly easy. Most companies, if they're like serious about this thing, which if they're a public company, they're going to be serious about this thing.
Yeah.
Most
More
of them
drugs will get through phase 1. It's like the X Factor.
Sounds like, why are you not
everyone's
doing that
getting
now?
through stage 1, but not everyone's getting to the judges' houses. You know? Judges' houses is like FDA approved.
I don't think it's like
winning
X
would be
Factor, to be honest, but
winning would be FDA approved. But it was a fun way. It was basically a gamble, what we were doing. It obviously was not guaranteed that they were passing phase 1, but most of them would pass phase 1.
And you say they pop 20%. I feel like that's pretty good.
20%.
That's pretty good, like odds, you know.
Yeah. If I was, someone who is a trader can probably work out like based historically how many drugs have passed phase 1. What is the average pop on that day? And then work out like how much, should I be going hard on this?
Create an algorithm that decides what company might pass the phase and what might not.
Yeah, but whenever I think about these things, it's just like there's a guy at Jane Street who's like, he's already extracted all the value out of that trade somehow. Like the alpha's out there. I'm on trading 2-on-2
on your phone,
probably like pretty hungover. Trying to press a few day trade on my app. I don't even have the candles. I'm just like buying a line. There's probably no way that I can compete with that. But
this guy figured out a way to not have to do that, and actually, is 360 million pounds or dollars, sorry, richer, considering he didn't actually day trade anything. He just created the company that did the thing.
Well, he took shrooms. That's what his message is. He says here, if I hadn't had my trip on December 29 and not talked to Mike about it, I would not have said anything, says Anger Mayer from his apartment in Lugano, Switzerland. Just have to drop that in there. Gazing at the lake out the window, it was the spark. Atai Beckley is also developing another DMT-related drug as a dissolvable sublingual strip and has a pipeline of other psychedelic compounds, including one related to MDMA, the active ingredient in ecstasy. But don't expect Eli Lilly to go all Haight-Ashbury. The words psychedelic or trip are unlikely to be uttered by the company. In a press release, Eli Lilly called Atai Beckley drugs rapid-acting neuroplastogens. This guy has obviously made Forbes because he is now a multi-millionaire. He made $360 million selling his psychedelic company to Eli Lilly. I think this would have been a more, well, maybe not. I was going to say more controversial acquisition in the past, but I don't really think so now.
Well, he says in a statement on the article, he says, on X, after the deal was announced, Angermayer noted that the psychedelics industry is going through an era shift. Psychedelics needed an evangelist 10 years ago, he wrote. Now it's all about commercialization. So, they needed something, and they're
onto something.
They were, a little bit dicey, but now it's like, if you're going to go and do it, it's all about commercialization.
Have you ever
about, go and build?
Have you ever messed with the lion's mane?
Not really, no.
nootropics in your tea type stuff?
No, not really. I mean, there are a bunch of companies out there.
Right. Yeah. I personally haven't.
And
either.
Also, IM8, David Beckham's company just raised $1 billion.
Wait, I didn't look into what they were doing, but I know that they.
IM8 is a drink. Let's just
It's one of those drinks that are just filled with
premium health, longevity, wellness brand co-founded by David Beckham and biotech firm Prenetics, offering an all-in-one daily nutrition powder designed to replace multiple supplement capsules. The name stands for IM8, representing balance and continuous improvement.
Wait, what? The name stands for
IM8.
I think
representing
like
balance.
the number.
Yeah. I don't really know.
Dreadful name.
Daily ultimate essentials, all-in-one powder drink containing 90 to 92 nutrient-rich ingredients, including vitamins, minerals, adaptogens, prebiotics, probiotics, and functional mushrooms. So it's kind of like what's that other one that's reformed, pretty similar.
I don't really follow the space too much.
I don't either.
I've never really got into. It's kind of similar to the Whoop, in a way, where like I feel like if you start using it, you let that kind of dictate how you are in a way.
Yeah,
right?
I like to kind of
just firm it.
just yeah,
Just firm it.
very European.
Well, yeah, I guess. I don't know. I've never like I have friends that take melatonin to help with sleep.
I wouldn't say I health
or
max.
magnesium. Yeah, but I think that
But I
overthinking
eat
that
healthily.
can be.
I eat very healthily.
Brian Johnson would be fuming right now.
Yeah, but I eat very healthily, but I don't.
You do eat quite
I'm
healthily.
not vitamin maxing. I'm not drinking this that, and the other. I'm creatine and maybe a vitamin D tablet, maybe.
Maybe if you're lucky.
If you're lucky.
Tablet.
But yeah, anyway, I think we have Laura. Is Laura in the studio?
Laura is joining
Not yet.
us. Well, she's joining us in 1 minute. Her time is at 1:30. Laura McGuinness over at Singular, previous partner of Boulderton, and has recently joined Singular. I think about a month ago. I'm pretty sure we covered it when she first moved, but we weren't on air at that time, so we weren't available for interviews. That was when we were.
It was when we were building
on
this
our
beautiful thing.
European extravaganza traveling around Paris. But we will be welcoming Laura on.
We will. While we
momentarily.
wait, 11 Labs, AI that communicates at a human level across every channel and modality, deploy conversational agents across every customer interaction, and create on-brand content at scale in 70 plus languages. Go to our 11labs.io. Let's do this. I think, are we good to go?
Can we pull up if we're waiting still, can we pull up this?
Not yet. We're going to keep going. We're going to keep ad-libbing.
video.
I actually follow Christian Angamer on X, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm going to have to get him on.
Can we pull up what I'm sharing? Just need more over at Venture Twins. Shared, seriously considering producing this as a full National Geographic documentary. Flux 3 is insanely good at these. This was made with one prompt. And I haven't actually, because we had a month building this, but we weren't as ingrained into the ecosystem as we typically are. I do feel like when we came back, there was a shift in how good things had gotten. And I think this is an example, like video gen, I think took leaps and bounds ahead when we were offline. Because I remember last time we were seeing it, it was getting a lot better, but it still wasn't in a great place. And only just like across 30 days, we'd seen like jumps that are incredibly insane. Like you could probably drop that in as a film.
Yeah, but the fact that it's a bunch
the
of
voiceover
walking,
as well.
The fact that it's walking data centers.
The youngest has fallen behind. Then, from the darkness, an adult returns. In the cluster, no one...
You know what this could be good for? Is making AI and data center build-outs popular for the non-tech person. It could be a nice little way to kind of, if you have a cute data center on your screen and you kind of build that kind of rapport with the data centers, maybe people will be more happy for people talking about sitting and burning a bunch of compute. I think there's a case to be made for an AI company to be more like, hey, let's switch the narrative by creating a National Geographic, documentary about, a cute data center.
I mean, that's a great way to win the public.
Let's change the narrative.
I just pinged Singular. I think we sent. There are 2 links on the thing, so I think they might be in the wrong.
Oh, great.
Meeting link. That is just us getting used to our new software. So bear with us a second as we sort that out. We have a Gmeet and also a Zoom link for them to join.
Oh, we do.
So I'm just gonna copy that in there and then just send it over.
Nice, you do that.
Join here. Okay, they're coming in.
Here we go.
Realize that. about 3 minutes too late, but we can welcome Laura into the show now, and we can get into amazing questions. Hello.
There we go.
We have to apologize, Laura. Were you
No,
sat in the?
I apologize.
No. This is our fault. Were you sat in the G Meet room?
I was like an idiot, so I'm here now.
No, that's our fault.
That
That's
is
our
on
fault.
us. We usually take the G Meet out and we have the Zoom in.
Yeah, my fault.
So I realized it live just then, and I pinged Carolina, and she was super quick to help, which is always amazing, as she always is. Welcome to the show. So good to have you here.
Thanks
Congratulations as well. A belated congratulations on the move over to Singular. Would love to start just by, for those who don't know who you are and what Singular do, if you could introduce yourself, what you'll be focusing on at Singular.
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess quickly, so Singular is doubling down on London right now because European founders have. Can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Okay, great. So yeah, Singular is doubling down on London because European founders have genuinely global ambition, and my job is to build out the London office, which is an exciting time. And I guess a bit about me: before venture, I spent over a decade operating, not founding. So I started my career at Abercrombie and Fitch Corporate. Then I moved over to H&M.com, heading up the U.S. online women's business, and then jumped to the startup side where I was director of product marketing and strategy at Away, a travel unicorn. So I wasn't a founder, but I was always a person kind of writing the first version of the playbook, the policy, the process, team structure. And then from there, I think being exposed to venture capital, I was at a VC-backed company, and it made me want to jump in and make a transition. So I spent about 4.5 years at Balderton, which is one of the sharpest early stage funds in Europe, and it was the best possible finishing school for VC, and came across Singular a bit by accident, and I was really drawn to them because I was excited to build something again. And so a bit about Singular: it's a seed to Series B fund. The last fund was almost 400 million euros. And in terms of the core tenets that I was really excited by is kind of this first, conviction over hype. We're only 14 people. And so we don't need to see every single deal, but we're kind of the opposite of spray and pray. We are real stock pickers. Second, I think we say we back creators, and these are innovators using frontier technology to reshape a discipline and kind of just get ahead of the market a long time before. And then finally, I guess London isn't a new bet. So Singular has been around for almost 6 years now, and London was part of the strategy from day one. What's changing now is there's a dedicated partner to build it out properly.
Amazing. So good for the ecosystem here. We caught up with the Singular team when we were in Panathenea with Henry and also Madeline, one of the portfolio leads at Aikido Security. And we had a great time, a really great time. So London is going to be the focus. Is there anything that you're particularly excited about, where you're going to be focusing? Is there a particular market, a vertical that means a lot to you, maybe based off your previous experience at all? Or what are you excited about regarding London?
Yeah, I think vertical-wise, we're sector agnostic, and again, we're hyper-focused on probably more about the founder than anything. And I would say we lean towards more frontier technology. And in terms of London, it's obviously, I'm biased. I've been here now for almost 5 years, but it's a great place to build. Google, OpenAI, Anthropic are all opening major hubs, and there's super easy access to talent. So London just makes sense.
Where do you start when you're tasked with building out a new kind of a new function in a new city? You mentioned that your operational experience has allowed you to kind of build those playbooks and from the kind of ground up. How are you kind of using that experience to kind of build in a new city? What does that actually look like? What are the kind of practical steps?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think in terms of what I bring from my background is a lot of strength in product marketing and go-to-market. And I think that was something that we can add more to our founders and portfolios. So I think things launching in a new country. I built most of my career in the US. And so now I think it's very easy for me to help founders in Europe and the UK launch in a new market like the US, like anywhere else. And then additionally, I think in terms of London's a great hub in order to access other really great UK cities. We've got Manchester has a great operating hub, and then you've got the University of Edinburgh that's producing really great spin outs. And so in terms of what we want to do at the beginning, it's just to really re-strengthen some of our networks And then from there, once we start, we already have a London-based portfolio, UK-based portfolio, and just building that out and being able to support on actual like hands-on operational work.
Nice, really cool,
Love it.
really cool. And this is it's a bit of a shift going from operator, well, incredibly senior operator as well, over to the venture side. Like, what are there any things, huge differences that you're seeing? Anything that scares you? Anything that you're incredibly excited about? Like, what's it like going from the operator side over to the venture capitalist side?
Yeah, I think the thing that threw me off the most perhaps is I think VCs are really good at pricing value and identifying value. But I think where it gets tricky is kind of identifying and pricing the intangibles. And when you're an operator, you're hyper focused on the customer, you're product obsessed. The conversations that you're having every day usually don't revolve around like, how can we return money back to our shareholders? It is around the customer, who uses this, like how can we better communicate our brand handwriting and values. And I think that was the biggest difference for me, is going from like being very in the weeds and day to day to kind of thinking, I guess, bigger picture. But I think that makes me a strong investor in that I've lived it. I've been there before. So I think when I connect with CEOs, I've been there. It's relatable. I've failed there, and also have been part of winning and shipping the product.
That's
Sorry, I
really
just
cool.
kicked my bottle over.
Luke's vandalizing our studio.
I wanted to.
Everyone's safe.
I wanted to ask about the kind of difference and maybe the like focus on the thesis of Singular and how you guys are thinking about what's going on at the moment in, there's a ton of discourse obviously about AI. I think it's probably like one of very few moments in history where there is so much going on in terms of a lot of discourse. Some people are doing one thing, some people are doing the other thing. How do you guys kind of find that signal within the noise? What's the thesis at Singular with everything going on specifically in AI?
Yeah. I've been following the letters back and forth. And so I think what we can see from the recent letters between NVIDIA and Anthropic, and it's clear that as foundation models get commoditized, the durable value is shifting to companies with proprietary real-world data and deep workflow integration in specific, often regulated physical or scientific domains, not necessarily to whoever has the biggest model. And at Singular, we're trying to make big bets there. And we've backed companies like Apoa out of London that is building the missing data layer for materials and molecular behavior. We've got Baseline Research that's building a digital twin of nature, like a biodiversity data set that no foundation model can just scrape. So none of these companies are trying to outbuild OpenAI per se. They're sitting on a data set or a workflow that literally didn't exist as structured data before. That's the moat. And so that's, in terms of how we're picking, I guess, that's what we're really looking for, is like finding this data moat, not necessarily over obsessing with the model.
Yeah, really cool. And speaking of like obsessing over the model as well, a lot of the conversation, like you mentioned the letter, a lot of the conversations have been around like Jensen's open source call to arms, essentially, and we've seen a lot of people rally behind him as well. Would love to get your thoughts, just like what does this tell us about the economics of this, the incentives? Like people are saying this is a beautiful display of game theory that we're seeing right here. Like, do you opt in? Do you have to opt in because others have opted in? Like, yeah, any thoughts, like not just like on AI safety, but what does this mean for the economics, for the incentives? Yeah, I'm actually glad you're talking about incentives, and that I think the safety debate is obviously super important, but I don't necessarily see it as a safety debate anymore. And you can kind of see that from the letters. I think it is genuinely an incentives debate, and everyone's positioning has shifted with the money. And the shift may actually end up favoring Europe, and I'll get to that. I think what the incentives are. Oh my God, I didn't know that was coming. So the incentives wise, you can see it in exactly who signed the letter and who didn't. So NVIDIA sells the shovels or the chips. Openness is literally NVIDIA's addressable market. This makes sense for them.
Meta's incentive is different, but also clear. Like Meta doesn't make money, I guess, like selling access to a model. It makes money keeping you scrolling. So if AI models are open and commoditized, that costs Meta nothing, but it wrecks the power of whoever is trying to sell access to a better model, namely Anthropic.
Yeah.
And then Anthropic, money comes from selling access to a closed, superior model. So if the open source stuff catches up, like that threatens their business. And so you hinted at the prisoner's dilemma, economics 101, which I won't bore everyone with, but I see it as for years now, the US and China have been stuck in this messed up prisoner's dilemma on AI. Neither side can afford to be the one that opens. So both just keep pouring billions into bigger, more secretive closed compute. Opening up first looks like losing. But what's interesting is this week, a Chinese lab just put out a near frontier model in the open for a fraction of the cost, which changed the game. And so again, I won't bore everyone with game theory. I love it. But I think with these love letters, are effectively renegotiating the incentive structure in real time. Raw money will no longer win the game. Both sides are being forced to kind of make a call, and we may be shifting towards a version where people get rewarded for cooperating, being transparent rather than just spending the most. And who's been the most cooperative and transparent? I would say that's where Europe gets super interesting. So I know everyone's been saying Europe's behind, and there's been these apocalyptic articles on Europe's doomed, what's going on? But they couldn't outspend the American hyperscalers, blah, blah, blah. But maybe that was the smart move, and Europe didn't play a game it was never going to win. And now it's positioned instead for the next game, a game that rewards being open and collaborative. And yeah, you saw Mistral sign the letter. So
yeah. So I know we only have we're pretty much done, but just quickly. So it's not just about AI safety. There are incentives behind everything. How does that kind of inform the decisions that you guys make when maybe you're investing in a company? Does that inform anything? How you asking founders what they think about this kind of this situation? How does that kind of inform your day-to-day work?
Yeah. Oof. Good question. I think how it informs the day-to-day work is really just taking it back to again, I guess the big TLDR is the model layer is commoditizing. So the real value is whoever has data a bigger model can absorb. And a lot of founders right now have been and are pitching that. And I think that's what gets us the most excited.
Yeah, nice. Definitely.
Really cool. Laura, we are 1 minute over, but thank you so much for joining us. Apologies for the small difficulties.
No, my gosh. Thank you so much for having me. Honestly, honored to be here.
Pleasure.
And huge congrats on your new raise.
Thank you so much.
We appreciate it. We'll have to have you back on at some point.
Yeah, we can do this again. We'd love to.
Yeah.
Thank
Amazing.
you again.
Good stuff. Great to meet you.
Thank you.
Before we have our next guest on, let's go to Airwallex. Leave our data business banking behind with Airwallex, the all-in-one financial platform built for the pace of modern business, multi-currency accounts, corporate cards, expense management, online payments, all in one platform. Go to airwallex.com.
We love those guys. Up next, we've got Ilya and Dan coming on from Dwelly.
Did you not like my...
I think it caught me a little bit off guard, that as well, the old...
We got to start using them in the interviews. I think it's great.
Yeah, I think... Yeah, no, I agree with you, for sure.
For sure.
That was... that was really good.
That's great.
I love that.
Do we have Ilya and Dan in the studio?
So they'll be joining us very shortly.
Ilya and Dan have some news to announce.
They've got a massive announcement to make.
Yeah.
So when did we last have them on?
We last had them on beginning of the year, I believe. They announced, maybe not. When did they?
It's a Series A,
let's do a timeline.
What are we, July now? They're coming on with the B. I think it might pre-Christmas maybe.
You can ask them yourself.
Oh, well, I think we're about to
on?
find out. We can ask them. Guys, how are we?
It's
so
February.
good.
It's been good to see you again.
It's so good to see you guys. We've got our Wii Sports theme tune playing over the opening.
Guys, congratulations.
Wait. Tell us. You got to tell us the good news. You tell us the good news.
Tell us the good news.
Yeah, we're super happy to be here to announce our 170 million Series B.
Let's go. Here we go.
Let's go. Guys,
and a few more great names.
Amazing.
Insane news. We were trying to work out, when did we last chat to you guys? When did we last have
Say
you
February.
End of February.
End of
on? End
February.
of February. You've clearly been
Sooner than we
cooking
thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys.
Sooner than we thought as well.
Let's go.
Everyone's cooking.
Talk to us about how did this come about? Was this preempted? How did it all come about? And give us a bit more detail about the kind of debt equity structure. How does it all work out?
Sure. I think that we've been exploring some of the some transformational acquisitions, and that's how we came along, I think, to start spending time with the EQT team.
Nice.
Because obviously, I think they're one of the best investors for a bit more capital-intensive and deeper roll-up story in Europe, obviously.
Sure.
And I think just fell in love, and they said, why not we guys kind of led your Series B preemptively, and that's how it came about. So, an amazing news. And
So
yeah, the
exciting.
round is 170 million, $95 equity, EQT Growth, GC, and kind of a bunch of other amazing angels, such as like Max from Ligora, Mati from 11 Labs, Victor
Amazing.
from Synthesia, and a few more, and 75 million debt with Trinity Capital. That is our lender that we used to work with already, kind of subject to some terms finalization to extend the debt facility from 50 million to 125. So exciting times, a lot more capital to buy great businesses, to deploy more AI into the services and the kind of the way the businesses are run, and hire a bunch of great new people.
Most importantly, kind of raise the level of service, which probably kind of, not so many people are so happy with their letting agents, and we hope to change this trend.
Amazing.
Dude, you guys, no wonder you're crushing. Yeah, there we go. There we go. No wonder you're crushing. People hate them in London as well. You know, you'd rather just an AI just do all this for you.
Exactly. Well, look, let's speak about how you guys strategically deploy the capital and what actually what does it mean by kind of like consolidating the UK rental market? What does that actually mean? Let's kind of go back and have an explanation about kind of exactly what you guys are doing and what the money means. Both equity and debt for kind of you guys going forward over the next, X number of months.
Absolutely.
I think, in principle, UK market is huge, right? So rent roll combined is probably around 100 billion pounds, and the commissions are around 10 billion from that 100 billion.
Wow.
We probably kind of approaching like 350 million a year as a rent roll. So tiny fraction of the market. There is a huge kind of room to continue growing in the UK, and that's for kind of we are raising capital, mix of equity and debt to continue acquisitions of the best performing businesses across the whole country. And obviously, as we are buying profitable businesses and through the growth of the revenue and obviously optimization of the cost side as well, because we can run operations much more efficiently. We are kind of making these businesses much more profitably as well, which makes kind of a huge chunk of money available for the redeployment into the product development. And we're pretty much planning to double the team by the end of the year. Product engineers, kind of most of our open roles are in product engineering.
Yeah, and I was reading recently, I think in the embargo release, that you guys are targeting 35 to 40% EBITDA margins. Typically, industry is running at what, like 10% maybe. What does one, how are you guys getting that gain? And obviously, correct me if I'm wrong on the numbers, but how are you getting that gain? And two, so I assume AI, but practically, what does that actually mean? How are you guys kind of finding that margin and increasing that to make it as profitable as possible and to make it, a better service as well?
Yeah, I think kind of to a significant extent, it's actually freeing up people time from the mundane kind of day-to-day activities and redirecting this kind of time into generating kind of customer demand, both in terms of new properties, new landlords, but as well kind of through selling new services to existing landlords. That drives the revenue significantly. But also kind of on the cost side, there is a bit more kind of traditional optimization because small local businesses are run in a kind of in their own way, and a lot of economy comes with the scale as well, because you kind of centralize particular suppliers, you don't need so many accountants, for example, for a bigger company, and so on and so forth. But these are the primary kind of levers. Optimization, how we run kind of basically the company through just professionalization of costs, plus redeployment of people into the revenue generating activities rather than just administrative tasks.
And I think it's a very interesting trend because obviously kind of one thing is how you can build ground up the services companies in AI native nature. I think number. But even if you kind of compare how some of the traditional businesses run today, I mean, obviously kind of you guys based in the UK as well, so you know the likes, the names of the likes of kind of Dexter's and Foxtons and the others, that kind of as a go-to-market would be doing some of the same of what we do today. So kind of buying the businesses at lower EBITDA margin, but then with no kind of proprietary technology that most of them have, but usually rather by using just off-the-shelf CRMs, they would be kind of elevating the primarily by the admin efficiencies from like 10% EBITDA margin to somewhere like 20. So obviously kind of our value creation with freeing up radically more time of the people can be kind of much more to redirect to the better service, to the redirect to spend more time with the customers, to easily sell them more services, etc. So kind of I think that going back to this kind of thesis of VC and PE worlds kind of really, I think, coming together to each other, especially in services, especially with AI, I think that Dwell is probably one of the good examples. And I think that more and more PEs, and we see kind of the big roll-ups are getting, I think, frightened and spooked by what we do, because I mean, they understand that they obviously cannot kind of get any sort of a kind of similar philosophy, value creation, talent, kind of, they cannot kind of just bring the same people on board. So it's going to be, I think, a big conversion of actually kind of VC taking on a bigger chunk of the kind of private equity strategists and the private equity capital, my personal point of view.
Well, just out of curiosity, like how big of a TAM are you guys looking at here? Like how big of a market do you think this, could Dwelly be?
Definitely bigger than SpaceX.
No, I think kind of
Let's go.
Yes.
It's definitely possible kind of to get there, but as outlined, the current revenue from this market, like rent roll, is around 100 billion. Current take rate in the UK, 10 billion, but with all the additional fintech services can be pretty much doubled to 20 billion. And it's just the UK. Across the whole Europe, multiplied by 5. So 100 billion with the US, multiplied by another 200 billion. This is effectively an addressable market. And I think we can be a double-digit kind of market share across all these markets within the next, whatever, 7 to 10 years.
It's all coming from ride-hailing, and I think the analogy that we kind of like to provide is that on ride-hailing, kind of households used to spend somewhere around 1% of their disposable income, because like you just don't take the taxi more than 2-3 times a month, so kind of like 50 quid, let's say. On rentals, it's every third family rents and spend on rentals kind of usually from 35 to 40% of the disposable household incomes. Out of the total revenue, effectively cost of the household, it's almost 12 to 15% of the total spend. So we're after an industry that is like 10x bigger than that in ride hailing. Yet Uber is what, like 200 billion kind of cap company. So I think that you definitely can build 100 billion business easy peasy. It's just like clear path. Just keep doing what you're doing, and it's already 100 billion business. I think a trillion business.
We just told her.
Yes. We're gonna go and launch our own.
What
Dwelly?
Why is the lettings industry like such a it's clearly like the next like big play in operations kind of play. Why is it the next big thing? Obviously it's a huge market, there's a lot of kind of fragmentation, blah blah blah, but like what allows you to just go, hey, we know the path, like let's just go operate, let's just go and buy and operate as we are. And is there any, when you do a deal, how different does it look to the previous deal, and then the next deal? Is it all pretty similar? Like you guys have got a playbook and you're just kind of repeating that. How does that actually look?
I think kind of there might be probably kind of, 10-ish types of different kind of situations where kind of which you buy in terms of like how the company is run, maybe like 10 to 20. And we obviously just kind of continue updating our launch playbook on the Dwelly platform as we continue acquiring businesses. But I think to your main question, what actually makes this industry kind of ready for complete kind of redesign with AI, I have quite a fundamental answer to that. Industries like ride-hailing were able to go through the kind of basically evolution to a platform because the traditional kind of user journey was automatable through just a sequence of button clicks, right? Because the transaction itself was very standard and scalable by default. People need to get from point A to point B, and you need to press a couple buttons to get there. In the property space, the transaction itself is very unique because landlords tenants and properties are very different. Each has different kind of preference. Each client has different preferences. Properties have different kind of their peculiarities, etc. And traditional workflow automation was pushing people to just adhere to a very standard process that is not taking into account all the corner cases. But now with the AI, where you can actually store the context at the granular level of the property or of the particular user, effectively scalable transaction is not a click of few buttons, but it's kind of a cooperation of several AI agents tasked with kind of basically completing particular job, and added up the context, it makes kind of the transaction itself scalable architecturally, but at the same time on the customer level, it is purely tailored approach, leveraging all the context. And I think without AI, it was simply not possible with the previous wave of technology. Now this industry can actually scale the very standard transaction on the architecture level with a very tailored approach to the customers.
Probably a feature of lots of service businesses, but here you also have a customer like landlord and tenant that is with you for decades. So hence it allows you to build this like very longitudinal relationship through product while keeping the level of personalization that Ilya is talking about.
And what I mean, just off the back of that, like long term, what does the future of this market look like with you guys in it? It sounds like you're trying to reshape the whole thing.
Amazing question.
What do you think it looks like? 15 years, 20 years from now?
Yeah.
Bigger revenues than SpaceX.
Yeah.
I think
big IP.
I think kind of years ago, the whole industry premise was to be kind of closer to the wealth managers, because kind of property is the biggest investment for most of the landlords and the biggest source of wealth for them. And they were coming to get kind of peace of mind and basically support to get kind of money from that investment. But as the regulations were kind of just building up on top of each other, effectively right now, letting agents are just spending time on the administrative tasks mostly, with kind of less time to spend with customers, understanding their financial goals, the performance of the property, etc., etc. And if you are an investor having, let's say, £500,000, £1 million, you can go to the wealth management company and get kind of particular level of service, because the whole financial infrastructure is built there for you, and you just basically mapping the needs of a customer with the broader financial infrastructure. In the property space, if you invest this money and give the keys to the agency, they will be dealing with all the service delivery in-house, because there is no infrastructure. So you're effectively kind of getting probably kind of around the same price, but you're getting the different level of service completely. So our vision is to build that infrastructure so that letting agents and property managers are becoming more of a wealth managers. They spend more time with the customer, asking questions like, what else can I do for you, much more often than they have time today, because the infrastructure is built for them and the infrastructure is developed effectively.
Exciting. Guys, congratulations on the raise. You guys are smashing it. Next time, come on again. I'm sure it will be in a few months.
See you in a couple months.
Well, yeah. Before we let you go, what are the some? Can you hint at what you guys have got coming up that we can look forward to? Like,
how many deals do you guys look at one time?
I think at the moment we have in the pipeline can currently run close to 10.
To 10. Okay. Like
10 that we're interested in, but probably can currently be like in the evaluation process. TEM has like 40, 50 basically.
Yeah. Okay, fine. So you have obviously different tiers, but 10 in like serious consideration, late stage.
Okay, LOI, NDD.
Yeah, fine.
How, just quickly as well, sorry, how do you guys market this? Like, how is this just word of mouth? Is this just you guys are approaching? Yeah,
approach with the deal, right?
You're just going up like, hey.
It started primarily reactive, brokers, kind of networks, but I think more and more, I mean, for example, after the announcement today, I think we already received more than 15 inquiries direct through our website. So obviously some publicity helps. And I think the more kind of broad we go, obviously the more and more there is realization how we're different from the typical PE-backed consolidators, and how different is the value proposition to the agency sellers is, where we preserve the brand, preserve the legacy, kind of, and a lot of other things. And it speaks to the heart of lots of sellers.
And obviously credibility as well, right? So kind of that's why initially it was more of a reactive approach basically from brokers, but now as we kind of Dwelly becomes more credible buyer, people know what we are doing, people know that we are kind of very trusted buyers and the process is very seamless. They just kind of start reaching out directly, and with every announcement, with every kind of news piece, with every acquisition, it just goes kind of on and on and on.
Amazing. It's a compounding effect. Well, look, congratulations. You guys are on a killer journey. And yeah, we're pumped that you guys come on our show. So thanks so much for spending the time. Congrats again, and we will see you soon.
Thank you guys, and congrats. I saw kind of you raised as well quite recently, so good
Yeah.
luck with the journey.
Thanks,
you,
guys. We
boys.
appreciate it. We'll see you soon.
Cheers.
Ciao.
Have a good one.
That is the Dwelly guys, absolute legends.
Always good.
Let's talk about
Good job,
MetaView,
guys.
AI agents for winning teams, the agentic recruiting platform built for radically efficient hiring, end-to-end. Source, engage, and hire better with AI agents that truly get your brief. Go to metaview.ai. We have 12 minutes. Let's
We do.
start talking about the town square.
I think we have a bit more.
Oh, we got some fridges. Let's get some fridge.
Do we have? Oh, we only have 12. Oh, yeah, we do. We only have 12. Okay, that's fine. Let's talk about fridges.
Can we get this up on the screen? Because it's a big
yes.
picture and it's great. And we should have
I
one.
think, Sam, can you pull it up on yours? Because I'd love to show. Okay, yeah. So, the human fridge. The human fridge. Is this really
Why is the
the
camera on
best
me?
way to cool? to cool. Let's.
Maybe I should.
I thought Luke might want to talk
Get it
about
right.
this
I
one.
don't want to talk. I don't want to talk.
This is my one. I found this bad boy, and I want to share it with the world.
Put him on the screen.
The
Let's
human
go.
fridge. Is this really the
Okay.
best way to cool down in a cruelly hot climate? There's been a lot of discourse recently about AC in Europe, the problems. When we were sat down with TBPN, John himself mentioned after their trip to
It's always
Paris.
if you speak to an American, it's always about the AC.
I think, look, like the AC debate. I used to be pretty anti.
AC.
Yeah, but like not even from a position where my argument was making sense. From a position where my argument was basically like, oh, I'm just gonna like stick by my European laurels for like no reason whatsoever. Like, yeah, you don't need AC. Like AC sucks. Like, why don't you?
Okay, I'm gonna shock the audience. We are getting AC in the office.
We are getting AC. We are getting AC.
We are getting permanent AC
let's bring
in
up
the office.
let's bring up the
Oh, well, no,
human
actually, we
fridges.
might not actually need AC.
That's what I'm saying. We're gonna get a human fridge instead.
Let's bring up the human fridge.
We can pull that up. Human fridge. The human fridge. Is this really the best way to cool
it's actually
down?
not called a human fridge. It's called a personal cooling booth.
Oh, okay. Well,
According to the Guardian.
A
Please go.
personal cooling booth that promises to chill you out in 10 minutes has launched in Japan, with its makers claiming it beats air conditioning or a fan. So, during the recent air conditioning craze in Europe, the heat wave that everyone was going through, this item would have come in handy. I tell you that. I was trying to get aircon.
Let him cook now.
Who's cooking?
Let
here?
him cook.
Is it the person?
The people who aren't in the personal cooling booth.
The people who are making the personal cooling booth, this thing would fly off the shelf in Europe. It would fly off the shelf like hotcakes. They've been making a lot of money, as you can see in the studios happening right now, a flashing strobe of money. So the name of this is the human fridge. Age, it's brand new. The appearance, it's a 2.1 meter high, 7 feet stainless steel fridge for humans. So if you are above 7 foot, it's going to be an uncomfortable experience for you if you do want to climb inside of this fridge. Aren't all fridges for humans? Great question. You could say that, but this one is for putting humans in. This isn't a traditional fridge. You would not put food in here. You
could put food in there.
You could if you wanted to. To be fair, I think it would be
That's
a
not
waste
quite
of...
what it says, though.
It would be a waste of... Yeah, it would be a waste... Oh, sorry. Does it say... Yeah, you have to
You
just
don't
go
have to
in
be
there.
dead to be in there.
You do not have to be dead to go into the fridge. And then the question, like, is it a refrigerated mortuary cabinet?
I don't read The Guardian, but this article, the format that it's written is very strange.
I don't think... I
Why
think it's
does
more
this
of like
thing
a
exist?
quick
What's
fire...
to be done?
Yeah, more of a quick
And the other
fire
option.
piece.
Very strange.
You climb into it. It cools you down. You climb into it, it cools you down, and then you leave. Apparently, it can cool you down in just 10 minutes. Why does this thing exist? Why do you think the world is on fire? Says The Guardian. We have spent this summer being pummeled by heat wave after heat wave. Records have been broken across Europe, and this week Japan logged its first cruelly hot above 40 C day of the year. Truly sad news. It was sad news in Europe as well, though. I remember I was going out to get myself an emergency fan at my local Argos because it was so incredibly hot that I couldn't sleep, and there were no fans. So they were sold out of fans, like
Sorry.
every model.
Did you not just go on Amazon?
Well, I needed it that day. It was incredibly hot.
Same day delivery.
I mean, it was later in the day, like 4 p.m. But I was absolutely astonished to see that they were sold out. So the human fridge, is a newest evolution in the cooling market. This has been released in Japan. This is where the idea has come from. And it's essentially a medically useful tool as well. The inside of the fridge is cooled to 15
Degrees.
Am I reading that right?
15 C. There's no degrees. 15 Celsius, I guess.
Yeah.
Cool to 15 Celsius, but there's no...
I thought that was a G. Like
15 Gs.
I was like, is that much it costs? 15 Celsius and 5 degrees Celsius as well. Jet of air is blown onto your head, neck, shoulders, and back. The makers claim that it can ease the symptoms of heat exhaustion faster than air conditioning or a fan. Although it sounds expensive and wasteful, the fridge is said to cost just 7p an hour to run.
Wow.
Which is about 3 times less than a toaster. But then it does sell for £6,900 or 1.5 million yen. We've got the cash money going there as well. So if you do have £6,900, this is 6,900 is the price of the human fan.
No, human fridge.
Of the human fridge, sorry.
£6,900. Great British pounds. Would you spend 6,900 Great British pounds on a human fridge? Or would you just buy an aircon? For probably a lot less. I don't know, how much is a normal aircon cost?
I don't know how much normal aircon is. How much is normal aircon? Anyone?
You can get them for a couple of £100
Yeah.
on Amazon.
If you buy a good
Couple
one, maybe
£100.
maybe £1,000.
Couple £100 on Amazon, a couple £1,000 maybe. 6,900 though for your own personal fridge. So what is the catch? What is the catch of the human fridge? You're probably wondering. If you operate a warehouse or a factory where workers are routinely exposed to punishing heat, or you put one in a public place like a vending machine for people who feel unwell, then it might save lives. Admit it, you want to try it, says The Guardian. I'm still not sold, says The Guardian. It's such a big investment. I'll just stick to using the budget option, hiding between the milk trolleys in the supermarket. Your loss. This is a really interesting piece from The Guardian. They have built a fridge for humans. Do a salad spinner for humans next. Okay, who's
Should we go on the...
Who's created this?
They need to
article?
get them and put them on the London Underground, let's be honest.
They could easily do that. Get them on the tube would be a good decision. Just jump in there. I like to stand at the back of the tube when I'm on there. But this could be the next big multi-billion-dollar company that we will see out of Europe to fix. Well, no, if they came to Europe, then they were saying yesterday. I mean, even when we were on TPN, they were saying, "How do we?" They actually said some kids in the Gundo would manufacture the air conditioning company of Europe and then deploy that.
Well, I said we
across
could
the States.
just get Max or Alex to vibe code a nice little site, get some aircon
Tell
sites
you what,
going.
Samuel Beek
Yep.
over at Schematic.
Should be making aircon.
Samuel Beek, you should be building human fridges on Schematic. Heard it here from me.
You would be rich if you did so. I think we have George in the studio, and I feel like we should bring him on.
Let's do it.
Before we do that, actually, Framer, build better sites faster. The all-in-one platform where enterprise teams design, build, and ship production-ready websites, no dev handoff, no bottlenecks, no creative compromises. Go to framer.com/ETN or go to etnshow.co. We built our site on Framer, so go and do that too. All right, let's talk to George.
We've got George coming into the studio.
We have some back-to-backs.
We got 3 back-to-back now. This is George Hugh, president at Fireworks.
Here we
AI. George, welcome to the European Technology Network. How are you, sir?
Well, it's great to be here today.
Awesome. George, for the viewers and the listeners at home, there's loads to discuss, there's loads to dig into. Could you maybe start by just sharing who you are, what your role is at Fireworks AI, and then some of the exciting stuff that you guys have been announcing recently?
Sure. First of all, as I said, it's great to be here. I'm the president at Fireworks AI. I've been here 3 months, and I'm incredibly excited to be here. I'm responsible for the entire go-to-market team at Fireworks, and we're building something really special. As we've been growing like crazy, we were 200 million run rate just a year ago, and now we're a billion run rate.
Wow, that's crazy.
We just raised our Series D, and that's because we're doing something really exciting. What we are doing at Fireworks AI is we are helping companies really own their own intelligence instead of renting it from the frontier labs. So we're helping them take open models, which are better than ever, and customizing them to create what we call specialized intelligence. And that is where you take an open model and you make it exactly for your use case, whether a legal use case or a coding use case or a finance use case. It's your model and you own that intelligence, and you can run it at 1/10 the cost of a closed model and get better performance. And that in the era of concerns about token cost and token maxing is incredibly powerful. And that's really what's been driving our growth.
Yeah, really cool.
Incredible.
I mean, straight away, we were chatting the other day. We saw a piece in the WSJ that's come out around this discourse. It seems to be that enterprise companies are now happier to use something that is open source. They'd rather be a little bit more conscious as to, it's no longer let's have a token maxing leaderboard up. Who's spending the most money? We're not really measuring the impact of what we're doing, but whoever's spending the most tokens, that person is productive. It seems to be more, let's just be a bit smarter with this. What are you guys seeing in the conversations that you're having at the enterprise level, maybe with the C-suite level? What are these seniors saying? What are these executives thinking?
Well, first of all, they're incredibly, as you said, focused on cost right now. They want to get more value for the tokens they're creating. They also see the power of these open models to create intelligence exactly for them. These days, the open models, when you create specialized intelligence with them, can really handle 95% plus of the AI workloads in the enterprise. And if you can do that at the 10th of cost, it makes complete sense. And the last thing is that companies realize that your data should become your moat. And when you use your data to create specialized intelligence, you're really creating something you own versus taking your data and giving it to a frontier lab. So you're effectively fueling your competitor. Yeah. So we see that these are the core trends at enterprises. They want to have lower cost, better outcomes, and more control of their IP and their future.
Yeah. Why has this only started to come about now in terms of, there's more discourse on the timeline on X than ever. Why has this only just started to really come out? Obviously, open models have been around for a while, but it's only being realized by kind of the wider tech ecosystem now. It's only kind of really happened over the past few months. Why is that?
Well, really, first of all, open models have hit an inflection point in terms of their quality. We've all heard about GLM 5.2 and now Kimi K3. These open models are incredibly powerful. They are effectively at the frontier. And when you are able to deliver these types of near frontier or at frontier outcomes at, as I said, a 10th to a 5th the cost, that's incredibly powerful. I think also enterprises are seeing what we've done with our AI native customers, like Cursor in coding or with Harvey in legal, and they're seeing these companies on the frontier building their own models, building their own intelligence, owning their future. And enterprises are saying, why shouldn't we have that? We have the same ideas, we have the same desire to control our future and start owning our intelligence and stop renting it and fueling our competitors. So this is really what's fueling this trend right now.
Yeah, sure.
Incredibly hot in the news right now. Obviously, we saw Jensen's sort of open call letter go out. Fireworks AI have also signed that agreement as well, backing the open source movement. Any comment on this at all? Decision to sign, the debate that's happening right now around this. It's there are some companies that have still not said that they're going to sign. They haven't reacted to it. Would love to hear your take.
First of all, we're really excited to be a part of this. I think open models are incredibly important for the future of AI, so that companies have the ability to, as I said, own their intelligence going forward. They have freedom of choice. We don't think that intelligence at Fireworks should be controlled by just a few frontier labs, but really should be owned by every company around the world. And open is really the key to having lower cost, more control. And frankly, the more open it is, the more access everyone has to intelligence, we think the better society and the world is going to be as a whole.
Yeah, agree. And this trend does seem to be, I don't know, as you say, it's kind of accelerating, whether that's from benchmark breakthroughs in Kimi, that going viral. The reaction seems to be incredibly positive. I'm not sure how you guys are thinking about this, but like, is there a position for you guys to like join the discourse now as much as you can, like ride this wave? How are you guys feeling about this internally, and how you can sort of capitalize on this moment?
Well, first of all, this is an incredible moment for open weight models, and we're seeing the traction, as we said. That's one of the reasons we did our fundraise. We were so excited to raise our Series D $1.5 billion, and we're going to use that investment to really grow. We're going to grow our capacity, we're going to grow our ability to serve our customers. We think this is the moment. But frankly, this is not just a moment in time. We think this is also part of a really long-term trend. We think the demand for intelligence is only going to rise. We think the compelling nature of open models and specialized intelligence with higher quality and lower cost is only going to get better over time. And as open models get better, I really view that in the future, every Anthropic and OpenAI customer is eventually going to be a Fireworks customer because the value proposition is so compelling.
Yeah, 100%. I wanted to ask about the a little bit more about the open letter that Dario released yesterday, and talk about the kind of risks that he believes open weight models might have on competitiveness and what that means. I just wanted to get your kind of general take on that point. I'm sure you read the article.
You mentioned, what was it, like worried of outsourcing this. This should be domestic technology, essentially.
Yeah. Kind of not inviting the competition almost. Would love to get your take.
Well, first of all, we live in a global society, and whatever any one country's policy decision isn't going to impact the rest of the world. The rest of the world has already voted. More and more tokens around the world are going to open models. It's a reality that we have to embrace and live in. And so, we want every U.S. company, for example, to have access to the best technology. If other companies in other countries have access to that technology for lower cost and more competitiveness, why wouldn't we want the U.S. companies to have that? And frankly, when you think about all these other dimensions like cybersecurity, if people around the world have access to these tools for offense, U.S. companies are going to need these tools for defense. So I think that it's really hard to make a case that open models aren't really in this global world, something that every company should have in its arsenal.
More broadly speaking, we'd love to hear more just about your perspective in your career in the past. Like, you've scaled multiple companies to hundreds of millions of dollars of run rate. Anything that you've seen changing in terms of how these companies are scaling today? Obviously, they're quicker, they're hitting bigger metrics earlier. What does it look like from your perspective? Like, how has things shifted? That 0 to insert X number. Like, how is that journey changing?
Well, first of all, as you said, the pace of change is faster than ever before. This is the third company now I've helped to scale. I spent over 15 years at Salesforce. I spent 5 years at Twilio, and in each of those cases, we went through hyper growth, but not the speed that we're seeing in AI. And I think it's really driven by the pace of the underlying change in the technology, the evolution of the technology. It feels like every 2 weeks there's an incredible innovation or a new model dropping in our world. And frankly, the pace of the demand for intelligence is faster than ever before. I think the things that are different, as I said, are beyond the speed, are the efficiency. We're able to use AI ourselves internally to scale very, very efficiently. We're doing $1 billion in ARR with fewer employees that I've ever seen in my career. And I think this combination of speed and efficiency is something that I'm excited to continue as we take this journey forward. And I think it's going to be a really incredible ride and journey for myself and for the entire company.
What's it like building kind of in AI infrastructure compared to maybe a business like Salesforce? How does that differ? What are you pulling from that role, kind of working with Mark Benioff at Salesforce? How does it look now?
How is it working with Mark as well?
And that.
Well, I'll say that one thing I would say is in common between the two companies, which is really that it takes an incredible CEO. This is the third founder CEO I've worked for. You mentioned Mark Benioff, who of course is one of my mentors and incredible. And I'm excited to be with Lynn Chow, the CEO of Fireworks. She is amazing. And one of the reasons, frankly, that I'm here is because I believe in her. She has an incredible technology vision as one of the leaders in PyTorch and creating that technology for the world, the foundation of modern AI. And she also has incredible business sense, and she has a vision around specialized intelligence that I think is massive. And I think that ultimately Fireworks can and should be an even bigger company than the previous two companies I was at, as special and wonderful as they are.
That's so cool, so awesome. And like the money that you've raised now, a substantial amount of capital, an amazing valuation as well. What is the plan with the capital? How are you guys focusing to deploy this? Is there anything in particular that you're incredibly excited about over the next 6 months for Fireworks? What's the temperature check internally?
Oh, as I alluded to before, this is our moment. So we are investing in the capacity of our infrastructure so that we can scale our capacity to serve our customers. I am scaling the global go-to-market team because we think that every company in the world could benefit from specialized intelligence, and we've got to get the word out there. And I think you're going to see us do some also aggressive marketing to get the word out there. And we're planning some really special events coming up later this year, which we can talk about later.
That's so
amazing.
Cool.
We love it.
A question just going back as well, like your position, president, like could you walk us through president, the title of president? What does that entail? What are your areas of focus for Fireworks? Would love to know more about that.
Yeah, I think that if you compare it to my previous title, so I was Chief Operating Officer for Salesforce and for Twilio. And I have somewhat similar responsibilities here in the sense that I own go-to-market, I own other functions, including our legal function, our people function. But I think the president title really conveys a customer-facing energy that's a little different. So I'm spending more time with customers than ever before. I'm spending more time in the field. I was not that long ago out in your neck of the woods at the Raise conference in Paris, visiting customers and prospects and feeling the incredible energy in the market. And that's one of the things I'm so excited about, to be on the front lines, working with enterprises and AI natives and digital natives every day to scale their business, whether that's the digital ones like Uber and DoorDash, or even the large enterprises. And excited in Europe to be working with companies like Revolut that are really changing the world. So that's really, really fun for me.
You mentioned this is your moment, and I agree. This is the time for you guys, and it's really exciting. How has the conversation switched from kind of an education piece, maybe on open weight models, to now it's almost like the education has already been done. It's now, hey, we can be that partner that you're kind of looking for. Have you felt that shift? I know you've only been at Fireworks for, I think you said 3 months, but have you already felt that shift, or was it already a lot of adoption quite quickly?
No, absolutely. We've, first of all, I'm building an incredible foundation that Lynn and the team have built, but this is an inflection point. Make no mistake about it. We talked about these open letters that are flying around now. I feel like these large companies and even our competitors, like the Frontier Labs, are doing our marketing for us. They wouldn't be nervous about these things unless they saw that this was really, really important. And you have these major company CEOs in our industry writing about things, and like Jensen putting his first ever post on X. This is really important in the world. This is a huge inflection point around open weight models, specialized intelligence, and the fact that there's much noise about it tells you the stakes, and is frankly educating the market for us. So I have more customers than ever, companies than ever, coming to me asking about what is all this stuff that's happening, and trying it for themselves. And we see that even in our early, we launched Kimi K3 yesterday on our platform, and it had incredible reception. So there's incredible momentum right now for this movement.
Yeah, wow. It sounds like you guys are really capitalizing on that as well. You mentioned the fact that you mentioned that like this moment it's essentially pulling people that haven't even been on X before to get onto X, to try it, because they're aware now that that's probably the quickest way that they can probably distribute their message. I think like Jensen's posted, it was on like 70 million views, I think, when we checked it yesterday, something like that. What do you have predictions over the next 6 months how this situation will play out, this open source versus closed source conversation? Are you speaking to any enterprise customers, any CEOs or any C-suite individuals that are sort of hinting at how they're thinking, how they want to move their business into this area. It seems that like proprietary stuff is taking like a small reel back, and open source is coming in on that enterprise motion. Sort of maybe for your everyday type of tasks, we don't need a Fable to run, my notes from my meeting that I had with my team just now. But maybe for our engineers or our SWAT team of AI engineers, like maybe it's incredibly necessary. Do you have an opinion or a perspective on like what the next 6 months look like with this debate going on?
Absolutely. I think that enterprises are getting smarter, first of all, about their spending, and they're scrutinizing it more. And every enterprise that I'm speaking with is testing or using either open weight models and or specialized intelligence.
Yeah.
I just spoke last week to a top 3 US bank, and they are already testing out custom models, custom intelligence, specialized intelligence, and they are letting their users access and choose between a wide range of open models, because they realize that this is the fastest way to have independence from the frontier labs, to lower their cost, and at the same time get better quality, because when you take these open models, you use your data to train them, you can specialize them to be better at that task than a general purpose intelligence model can actually do.
Yeah, no, fascinating. Thank you so much for your time, George. We've got about 2 minutes left. Is there anywhere that we can point people to, anywhere that we can guide, listeners, viewers, people that you guys have coming up, anywhere we can point them?
I would encourage, if you have not yet tried some of these open models, to come to Fireworks and come to Fireworks AI, come to our website, and just start using it. You can get started today on K3 or GLM52 or any of these fantastic open models, and then work with us to create your own specialized intelligence. And I think that's the best next step for any company around the world.
Let's do it.
Love
George,
it.
thank you so much for joining us. It's been
really
an absolute pleasure.
it.
No, anytime.
Take care.
Cheers.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
All the best. Bye-bye.
Awesome stuff. That was George Hu at Fireworks AI, absolutely crushing it. Wow.
Yeah, I didn't realize they were at 200 million last year. That's actually
billion plus run rate as well.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's. As in, I knew the billion, but I didn't realize they were at 200 million last year. That's.
They've gone what, valuation? Or
No,
run rate?
Run rate.
Oh, they 5x'd it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's insane.
Insane. Talking about an insane company, Hex, the AI analytics platform where trust meets insight. Hex helps teams of all sizes by giving teammates the ability to get insights from their data via natural language, code, or familiar BI interfaces wherever they work. Let's have our next guest on the show. Is Suraj in the waiting room or not?
He should be joining us in 1 minute. He should just come on. Co-founder at Prior Labs. This was one of the largest European financial outcomes ever, I think.
Yeah, this is big.
I remember James Wise doing a post about this when we covered it a while back, when we saw the initial acquisition announcement. Part of the Boulderton portfolio. Obviously a portfolio that is
18 months from founding as well. €1 billion to SAP.
Yeah. So, and it was interesting about the structure of the deal. We can ask more. Hopefully Saraj can let us know. But
yeah, because we were confused, and so was the timeline, confused about whether it was an acquisition or not, right?
But I think it was 700 up front, 300 stock, and then additionally on top of that, SAP was to put in €1 billion on, hey, this is your pool of resources to scale this lab, and that will be an internal SAP AI lab that is taking that position in SAP. But it's a great thing for the ecosystem to see ASML and SAP spending some of these research budgets on acquiring these frontier technologies, bringing them in-house, right? It makes a lot of sense. Why would you not?
Yeah.
I mean, it's basically a time machine. You can just buy where you want to be in 6 months, or buy the research, the capability, the engineering talent of where you want to be in 6 months. It makes a lot of sense to do it.
Indeed. Well, we can ask the man behind the deal. Suraj is here. Here we go.
Let's go.
Hello, sir. How's it going?
Good. Good to see you guys again.
Mate, how are we? It's been a while.
I know. You guys were off the grid. for a while.
We
And coming
were-
back with the great news.
Yeah, we were. So this is the
Everyone thought we were on holiday,
'Cause,
but
yeah, we-
actually, we were working hard.
We'd
right?
done the post, and then everyone was like, I think it's because I put the cigarette and Aperol spritz thing in there as well.
Our announcement, yeah.
Which some of those were consumed, to be fair. But we were building this. We were building this, and we were closing our round. It was, and we did go to Paris actually for Raise Summit as well.
We did.
Nice.
Anyway,
Just
let's talk about your deal. Let's talk about the incredible news that you guys had. How does it feel? Give us the down low, and then we can go from there. We've got a bunch of questions.
Yeah, what's happened?
I mean, a lot has happened, and honestly, all of it happened so fast that it's been a bit. It took me some time to process what was actually going on, but it's incredible, right? I think everyone is super happy. We're super excited about what's coming next. We're super excited about what we achieved in 18 months.
Yep.
But I think the best part about this, which is different than maybe most acquisitions and exits, right, is that it's not ending. It's actually just getting accelerated going forward. So all of the scaling plans that we had, all of the plans that we had to hire and expand, all of that has just been kicked into fifth gear. So that's quite well.
No, I hear it. And then, could you familiarize us with the structure of the deal in terms of? So this is you've come in house to Prior Labs. It's €1 billion
to SAP?
Sorry, you've come in at Prior Labs has come in house to SAP, and there's €1 billion of funding pooled now towards Prior Labs as well. Amazing work from our producing team. We were just saying then that this looks like a great thing for the ecosystem because SAP and companies like SAP or ASML of these sizes are starting to look at frontier AI labs around Europe and thinking, how can we bring them in-house, resource them incredibly well, but also benefit from their technology? What does the relationship with SAP look like? Because I know there's elements of staying independent, which is very important for speed and whatnot, but how does that...
how does that commitment look?
Yeah. So it's we were really inspired by the DeepMind Google structure of when DeepMind was first acquired by Google.
Oh, cool.
Right. So that was really the inspiration for the deal, and I think we were at a place where the market has just started to have their foundation models. Right. We created the space. The race is on, and you want to set it up in a way that you are set up for success. And that does require a certain level of independence. I mean, SAP is a great organization, but they are, they have 100,000 people. They have policies, programs in place, things that just, the classic startup versus corporate struggle, you can't move as fast. So for us, it was really important to make sure that, hey, we don't lose the momentum, we don't lose the speed. We also don't lose our brand, we don't lose the identity that we have created for ourselves within that space where we're definitely considered the leaders. So that was a key element of why we wanted to keep this structure. And I think I have to give a lot of credit to SAP's leadership because they really understood that, right? So I think they're super self-aware of what's needed, and maybe similar to what you said about ASML, to actually make something in this market succeed. And the good thing about DeepMind was that they have laid a very good foundation for showing the success that you can get with that. Now, of course, we'll see what happens 5 years, 7 years, 10 years down the line. But for us, really, it's about building a big frontier lab. And then also being able to do that out of Europe. I think that was super important for us. And I think SAP also recognizes that, right? And being one of the largest technology companies in Europe, saying, okay, we're now going to make the same, not just go into software, but make that push into AI, which is really core to their strategy going forward. I think this is the commitment that they want to make to show that. And I think if you want to be serious in this market, right, you need to be talking about a serious amount of money. And I think that's what this commitment is about. It attracts talent, it gets you the right customers, it puts you into the limelight with the right types of other companies that you want to be talked about, right? And not as another startup. And I mean, we were doing pretty well, but there's a big difference in going from €9 million of pre-seed to €1 billion of funding.
Yeah, that's so cool. I wanted to ask practically, what does that kind of commitment, or how are you guys working together? How is maybe SAP using Tab PFN? How does it kind of all come together?
Yeah, so I have to be careful because I can't disclose terms of the deal or
Okay.
I will be on the hook.
There's
basically, we keep the company. So from a governance perspective, right, we keep the company. SAP's part of the governance on our board, but for a large part, actually, things haven't really changed in the way we used to govern the company when Volition was on board.
Okay.
So it's pretty similar. We still are managing directors between the three of us co-founders. All the plans are still going. We still have the same kind of like decision-making processes in place. And then when it comes to how they're using, they were actually one of our partners, right? That we were going to use as a distribution channel. We wanted to. They have this AI core platform. They're going into the data space and into the model building space. So we wanted to enable SAP customers and users to be able to use our model, and that is still happening. That is just getting accelerated. So anyone at SAP who's building any application, so that could be like their success factor stuff. It could be their procurement software, their finance software. All the enterprise products, and I think it's like what 1 in every 3 customers is an SAP customer is going to have the access to Tap the FN capabilities and predictive capabilities.
Incredible.
And then you can think about all of the data that they have that we can also use and leverage to improve the models, and the models are just going to get significantly better because of that. And then the last thing is their distribution reach that they have. So of course they have the existing products, but they also have a massive sales team. I think it's last numbers I received were like 25,000 salespeople or something around those lines.
Wow,
So I don't need to build a sales team of 1,000 people anymore, right? What I need to do is really think about the packaging, the value proposition, and be able to hand that in a way that can be scaled massively by their sales teams.
Yeah. Do you think do you think you could probably like put a number or some form of metric in terms of the ability to focus on the product itself and now not having to kind of think about the building a sales team or whatever it is, because you have now SAP to kind of lean on when you need it? Do you think you could kind of quantify that in terms of like how much progress you think you can make now you have that to lean on?
I think it's tough. I don't think I can quantify that.
Yeah.
What I will say is that it feels different, especially for the research arm, right? Because we have a commitment for pursuing open source research.
Yeah.
And of course, when you're VC backed, you are like, okay, we're going to do open source research, but then the horizon you're looking at is not really 4 years. I think, especially in the AI world, right? You're looking at it from, okay, what's the research you're going to push out in 3 months and 2 months? And then how is that a product that you're going to then monetize right after? And we're still going to continue to do that. So we still have our product research team. And of course, SAP also still wants to see, I'm still hiring salespeople. I'm still hiring the head of sales, account executives. We still need to continue to push on our sales targets exactly as they were before.
Yeah.
But we can, of course, scale that much faster with them. And then on the research side, we're setting up like a moonshots arm now, which means that we can do things that are much more long-term, unclear outcomes. We don't really know what's going to come out of them. And that freedom, it's tough to quantify that, but that freedom does a lot for attracting talent.
Sure.
That otherwise wants to remain in the open. So we're getting people that want to stay at Stanford and MIT, but now they're like, oh, I can also join prior. And second, it excites the existing researchers because they get to kind of remove the pressure to monetize all this, right?
That's where the fun is, on the moonshots. That'll be awesome. Yeah. When we last spoke, we were having conversations around like tabular data. Where does it fit within the AI revolution? And like you guys, from all the people that we spoke to, I think, and you mentioned earlier, like you guys were definitely leaders in the space. What does this mean for tabular data and the AI revolution? Is this kind of putting it on the map? Are you going to expect like competitors to pop up? Are you guys still, now you have more resources, so you would not only maintain, but maybe, get a few yards ahead of anyone else that's trying to enter the market. But yeah, what does it mean for tabular data within that AI revolution that we're experiencing at the moment?
Yeah, the attention that the space is going to get is just increasing. And I saw that already. Google released a model a month ago. So that shows you that serious players are stepping on the map. And then we had this launch event in New York when we opened our US office in March. And honestly, one year ago, we had done the London launch event, which was like our company launch event. People were in this room, 100 people, where no one really knew what tabular data is, what tabular foundation models are. The launch event in New York was oversubscribed. We had like 250 people almost, or 250 people. Wow. And everyone was either a user or a customer or doing active research in the space. So
that's great.
Just the amount of people that were attending, the amount of people that know about this is just increasing. The number of papers, I think Tap the FN was the most cited AI paper in Nature for 2025. So the number of papers that are coming out on top of our research has continued to increase. I hear about new startups. Now I'm getting asked to angel invest in these startups every day that are coming out in the tabular domain or, are adjacent domains that are within the tabular world and structured data world. NVIDIA acquired Kumo, which was one of our, I guess, adjacent competitors. So I think the space is getting a lot more love, and I'm going to expect it to get much more heated, I think, towards the end of this year and next year as well.
That's really cool. Wow. Yeah, a lot of attention on the space. Are you gonna do some angel checks?
Yeah, why not?
I love it. So cool. We also, I'm not sure if we touched it last time we spoke, but Jan Lee Kun is on your board, or was previously. Does he stay on, or what happens with still on the board? What's it been like working with him?
He's a very busy man.
Yeah, I can imagine.
That's what I can say. So he's on our.
Sorry, go on. No, you please.
No, I was going to say he's on our scientific advisory board, so that's different than our board. We also have the scientific advisory board where we have Jan, we have Bernhard Chilkov. There's a person called Madeline. She runs like a tabular representation community within the AI research world. So that board meets much less frequently than our regular board, and it's more like advisory, and it's more for Frank, who's leading the research to really do some brainstorming and kind of back and forth. But Jan's been super supportive. I think he was like going around at Raise even and talking about us to everyone, and so it really helps. But he's staying on.
Very cool. Well, I was going to say we saw him at Raise. We were at the dinner, and I was too scared to go up to him. I didn't go and say hi. I should have. But him and another individual were just looking at AI research papers at the dinner. It looked like on an iPad, which is So I know what you mean when he says he's a busy guy. He was even busy at the dinner. Slightly off topic, but you mentioned a little bit earlier that the structure with you and your co-founders and like what the focus is. I think I saw somewhere there's like a co-CEO structure now. Would love to know the decision-making process around like why go to this. How are you finding it? Is it different to what you've experienced previously?
Yeah, for sure. So we were previously, Frank was CEO, I was COO officially, but I've always been leading everything on the business side. So everything that's not research and engineering effectively. So all of our fundraising, all of the go-to-market, community building. And I think now we're at a scale where you need, I think that the title has some drawbacks, right? Because people are like, oh, I want to meet the CEO and I want to talk to the CEO. So that was a decision to say, let's split that into a co-CEO setup. I'm also not someone who comes from a research background. And I think it's also odd that you have a completely frontier lab foundation model company that has a CEO that doesn't have a research background as well. So that's why we decided to keep that co-CEO setup. And that also reflects how the business is run, because we have really this like foundational research side, as I mentioned, around moonshots and product research, and then also the business side, which is scaling up super fast. Our revenues are growing a lot. The go-to-market with SAP has to grow a lot. So that also requires a lot more love and a lot more serious conversations where this title split makes sense.
Yeah, 100%. I can imagine. Really cool. Look, we are coming up to time. Is there anywhere we can send people? You mentioned that you guys are hiring now. Any sort of
how can we help you out?
We can point people towards.
We are hiring a lot. They should go to our website, priorlabs.ai/careers, apply, reach out to me directly. We're hiring on the go-to-market side. I'm hiring 2 senior roles. I'm hiring a head of partnerships who's going to be like leading a lot of our hyperscaler partnerships, a lot of the SAP partnerships that we're pursuing, and then a head of ops. So someone who's going to be, running all of ops and reporting to me. We have a lot of people on the ground in Germany, but we also have people in the US. So this person could be in New York or in Berlin, or if they're anywhere else in the world, I'm still happy to speak with them.
Yeah, awesome. Really cool. So good to catch up, man.
Cool.
We're slightly over, but what a pleasure. Always good to see you. And please keep us updated for future announcements. We love hanging out.
No, likewise, guys. Thanks for having me, and congrats again.
Legend. Cheers, dude. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Let's talk about Base. Base, the infrastructure for the on-chain world. Base is built to empower builders, creators, and people everywhere to build apps, grow businesses, create what they love, and earn on-chain. Go to base.org. Next on the show, final guest on the show, we have James Hawkins at PostHog.
Yeah,
James. I believe is. Are we good to go? No, we're not good to go.
Just waiting for.
Let's continue.
James. I'm checking if we have another. Oh no, we're good. We're good with the Zoom stuff. Cool. I'm going to play this. James from Postdog is flying into the stream as we speak. He'll be landing on the show very soon. James Hawkins, everybody.
Max is cracking up.
My first. Oh, we got him in. We got him in. The helicopter has landed.
James, here we go. Let's do this.
James, how are we?
Yeah, very well. Thank you for having me.
No, thank you for joining us. I personally have been a huge fan of yours for a while. So is my housemate at home. We always laugh over your tweets and your LinkedIn posts. So this is a really fun moment for me. For the viewers and listeners at home, can you maybe introduce yourself, your role, and also Posthog, and then we can get into it with a bunch of questions.
So I'm co-founder and co-CEO at Posthog. What Posthog does, it makes your product self-driving. So we find all the problems, bugs, stuff like that, using tracking lots of data, find issues and solve them without you having to get up out of bed in the morning if you're an engineer.
Nice, nice start. I just want to ask straight off the back, you have a very unique personal profile in the way that you communicate some product pushes, some announcements, to the point where, being quite honest, sometimes I'm not sure which ones are real. Like, I think when you guys did a raise, I didn't know if that was a real raise or not.
Describing it as very unique is beating around the bush a little bit. Some posts are real, some aren't. And now I kind of can't tell if it feels more important to highlight the ones that are sincere, because you can kind of default assume that they're not. But I can confirm we have raised money repeatedly at Postdog.
Really cool, really cool. How are things at the moment? How are, like, temperature check, given, I guess, the discourse that's happening around AI right now, obviously a lot of attention just generally, but how are things at Postdog? Is it affected by any of the open source debates at all? Or
it's kind of gone exactly as we sort of hoped. We've really, we've been really grateful to see the rise of open source models. As we're working on kind of self-driving for products, it burns a ton of tokens. And we're like, well, if we're going to have to use frontier stuff for all of this, we're going to have to either charge a ton of money or run out of money ourselves. And so we've been busy switching stuff over to things like GLM 5.2 or Kimi K3. And it's really pushed things in the direction that we kind of thought would happen. The frontier one's still useful in places for sure, but the temperature's been scorching though. I would say there's an awful lot of really cool stuff that's starting to appear after like a year and a half of work on AI, or for 2 years of work on AI first products and things. So it's a very entertaining. It's probably the most entertaining it's been at Postdog since we started.
How you mentioned there was a switch from kind of like the frontier models to the open source ones. Was that a quick switch very recently? Give us more details about that, or was that like you guys have kind of been drip feeding? You kind of felt that this was the open work models were getting good enough to be able to do that. Obviously, Kimi K3 only got announced a week ago, but was that like an immediate switch? You were like, models are good enough. Let's go, hard on that.
GLM 5.2 was the one where we immediately decided to switch, because I think it cut the costs of us generating a pull request by like maybe 30 or 40% in one go without a compromise on quality. That kind of ballpark off the top of my head. So we've been looking at like injecting them in certain places, using a whole range of models for different. We use AI in tons of places. You can use Postdog where agents will dig into your data. You can ask it questions about errors or logs or events or like how many people are using this product, whatever. So different use cases, we've got different models kind of working, but we've started specializing different parts of the whole stack and doing a bunch of like internal benchmarking, that sort of thing. So, but the coolest thing is it means that overall it's getting cheaper because of open source, which makes it possible to offer more and more to our customers. So we're really excited. I'm hoping that continues.
That's really cool to hear. That reduction is steep though. I didn't think it would be as flicking a light switch overnight, 30 to 40% reductions.
The thing that's interesting in practice though is when you get like a reduction like that, you end up using things more intensively. So for example, the saving we've been able to make on self-driving pull requests is now going into us building tools to review much more intensively the work that we have shipped for people. So the overall cost is kind of flat, or even slightly upwards, but the quality is way higher, which is basically what we care about. But the cheaper it gets, the more we spend.
Correct me if you're wrong, if I'm wrong, but you're profitable. But were you profitable before like the open source stuff happened, or has that allowed you to be profitable?
No, so we're not profitable. We are burning stuff. We're super strongly default live. Like we have run race our runway may outlive me. Put it that way around. Yeah, we kind of like our first rule of fundraising is make sure we don't need to fundraise, which has been a huge advantage. When we want to shift into all this AI first stuff about 2 years ago, it just meant we can actually just go do that and not worry too much about, we don't feel desperate for like that next deal to come in or whatever. But yeah, no, we run like very, very strongly default live. It's been nothing. We're seeing the AI first stuff we're shipping. Those products are probably growing about an order of magnitude faster in terms of kind of revenue growth from them than ever before. It's certainly more challenging from margin perspective than pure data because we're trying to handle things like token costs and stuff. And we want to make sure we're selling things that are margin positive. Postdoc's kind of been like this since the start. Like we don't do deals where we lose money, for example, ever. But yeah, the only reason why there is that we're just adding lots and lots of kind of engineers and support people and so on to the company because we're getting more aggressive with what we're building and our go-to-market.
Yeah, that's really cool. Just on the open source thing, I feel like the trend in the industry, like people knew at some point this could maybe happen in terms of like this open source adoption, but I feel like over the last week and a half, 2 weeks, well, maybe last month perhaps, it's been incredibly more popular, a lot more conversations around it. We were kind of thinking that was, and we weren't live at this point. We'd shut down the show for a month to rebuild everything. But we were kind of thinking that really it was towards the end of the Fable recall when it was kind of like, okay, what does this mean for Europe? Are they able just to pull our access from this thing that's incredibly important to all these businesses? What does that mean for the non-domestic allies? Do you feel that was maybe in elements like a catalyst for this? It kind of started the fire a little bit in the discourse around this, or? Yeah,
I think the I mean, I guess like if there are more restrictions on models in the US, there's just more incentive for firms outside the US to ship stuff, basically. Like, similar to how they argue about like if there are restrictions on the latest chips going to China, it creates incentive in China for them to work on their own chips completely from scratch. So yeah, it feels kind of hard. I think software engineering, especially the culture of open source and developer tooling and stuff in general, it feels quite hard to kill AI at this point. Yeah, but internally it was kind of nuts. We're all remote, so a bunch of people in the US and a bunch of people outside. We're like, are we going to have some engineers who are like copy pasting prompts via Slack into their version of Fable or something? So
how do you deal with that? Do you have to have a company-wide message, or what? Yeah, how did you do
the
that?
Americans make a new Slack channel?
With the Americans hey guys,
we're all currently allowed to use Fable. It's totally fine. We can just spend loads of money. I mean, the other thing we think is going to happen next, I think there's just going to be a near insatiable demand for data. It's kind of what we're betting, and getting more intelligent with tasks. So kind of going beyond like, I type in what I want, it ships something for me, to AI taking the form of being proactive and just continuously kind of monitoring what's going on, which is a data-oriented challenge. Like to understand a business properly, you have to, just walk in and do stuff. You have to look at what's going on. So yeah, we're kind of getting much more assertive. The other trend that we're looking at is we're getting much more assertive with getting data out of our customers' kind of products and businesses to help detect and fix problems for them. So for example, like we built this AI wizard that sets our products up for you. It adds like our SDKs to grab your event data on your product with just one terminal command, and it's been super successful. Like it nearly doubled our activation rate for our products, and helped drive a really large increase in growth this year. And so yeah, we're just trying to make sure that we've got our data in good shape, and we're starting to look into things like AI, we're now starting to do model training on top of the data that we generate, and having kind of vertical specific models too. So we're just trying to go deeper and deeper and deeper from a data point of view, because I think that will now be the next challenge in AI, to help connect AI to reality and to make it useful in production for real life companies that have to understand their customers properly, for example.
Yeah, that's awesome. It sounds like engineering in general is going incredibly well over at your side, making some incredible like step changes. It sounds like. A question. My background is in GTM. I've not given myself away. I'm not very technical, but your distribution, your marketing, it seems to be pretty like founder led. A lot of your stuff does go viral. It does incredibly well. I think there was one ages ago that we were laughing at. But I think we brought it onto the show actually. They're just plopping a data center somewhere. I can't remember the exact thing, but there was like an image of a data center. It's obviously not meant to be there.
In Central Park.
I can't remember where it was, but it was really
one in
funny.
Yellowstone, one in Central Park. So
I think it was
in
Yellowstone.
Yes.
Under the arch.
Yeah.
That was hilarious. Has that stuff that you've been putting out, has it played into like top of funnel metric for Posthog? Like, is it bringing in revenue?
God knows. Well, basically, alarmingly, yeah, like we're still like super. I mean, overall, Postdoc is extremely heavily inbound still, like to a kind of wild extent. It's been very hard to get outbound working because we have so much funnel just organically and people recommending our stuff online. I think the awareness side, one of the ways I think about marketing is if something's hard to track, it's basically, if something is easy to track in marketing, it will get saturated because the world's so competitive. Increasingly with robots that can automate your marketing for you or whatever else is going to be happening. And so kind of by design, I'm always going to struggle to answer these questions if we're doing the marketing the way that we believe in it, which is in the form of like, I'm like, well, if I can like write a tweet and it takes a minute of time or 5 minutes or whatever, you can literally get more kind of brand awareness from that than spending like $1 million on billboard ads. And you can do it multiple times a day. So that was kind of our point of view with that stuff. And so we tend to do marketing differently to everyone else. That we've hired actually very few people with marketing experience at Postdoc, but which I think is why our marketing has been very successful. And we've always been in like busy industries and stuff. So yeah, I don't really know what the impact. I just know that in practice, if I wander around like San Francisco, I get recognized because of me saying weird stuff on LinkedIn, which to me seems like it's probably working. But who knows? It's relatively expensive too, right?
That's the benchmark. Do I get?
But this is what I was saying the other day. I feel that like the new strategy should just be like an Aura Max for a company, no matter what your company's doing.
Well, I got stopped on the tube
after the launch
yesterday. And he said congrats on the launch, and I thought, wow, that's crazy that you can just chat online and tweet, and you're going to get recognized. That's how it works. Very interesting.
What you said there about like the reason that it's an unmeasurable channel, because you will just, the world is in a very efficient place. Like if there is a way to track it in a certain channel, there are probably a couple people that have got there before you, maybe just completely milked it. And I don't think there are too many new marketing channels popping up nowadays. That's really interesting. But how are you, so even me asking a question like, how are you, reversing the value back from what you've done there? Like, I guess it's a non-question because you're not allowed to put that premise.
It's kind of hard. I mean, we do a few bits. Like if you sign up for the product, there's a text there and just says, hey, how did you first hear about us? And then people just manually write in whatever. And then we tidy it up and have a look through to get a rough sense of what's going on. But the spend on it is so small anyway, so it doesn't like free. So whatever, basically. But I can see it increasing if you're consistent, I think, on social stuff. It just snowballs. It just like gradually compounds over time. And then it's sort of knowing about. I still think we're like doing a bad job of some of the channels, like Instagram, for example, where we haven't really done anything because like I just don't use Instagram, so I don't know what I'm doing there. That we still have to figure out. We're still trying to figure out video, so we haven't got everything worked out yet. But yeah, being unashamedly afraid, is that the right combination of double negatives? Basically having a fun time on the internet, doing stuff we think is kind of funny from quite a technical person's perspective. It tends to just do really well in engineering. And the other thing I would say is like if you're working on something, the more interesting the things we build are from like and this is starting to happen to us as we're building like self-driving software, doing things like model training. If you have something that's remarkable to work with, it is easier to get people to remark about it online. And so the more interesting we build, the things we build, the more possible it is to the marketing gets easier basically as the sales too, which is something I underappreciated I think at the start of our company's life. But as we go further on, it's like actually the bolder we are, the more successful we are because of the fact that it's bold, even if we're wrong, perhaps at times.
It just brings that brand out there,
100%. And I know we're at time. I'd love to ask just one more final question. We've noticed that a lot of our audience, when people are reaching out saying, hey, we've got this press release coming up, can we have the founder on to announce the round? Typically with a European founder, I'll go to they'll be like, hey, like the embargo will be like, we've just raised, 100 million at this crazy valuation. And here's their profile, and I'll go on their X account, and they'll have like 60 followers. And then someone from the US will reach out like, hey, this person's raised like 12K at like $1 million valuation, and they have like 100,000 followers. Do you think there's a strategic comparative advantage to being on X compared to not being on X?
Yeah, I think it's the early adopter part of tech is on X. It's probably not the whole. I don't think it's the whole market. That's why at this stage we're like, okay, maybe we should start thinking about platforms like Instagram, where people who aren't kind of terminally online may live. But like X is kind of, I think, a good place to get initial it's one place to get initial like distribution of something, and you can go pretty far, I think, from just X adoption plus word of mouth if you actually do a good job once you get people in the door. So yeah, I think X is a good spot to start. It's pretty slow to build an audience on there. I think it was way easier like 5 or 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So it's challenging, but then stuff goes viral more independently of follower count, I think, these days anyway. If you do something really, really cool, I think X is a great place to try and launch yourself. Like much more effective than like 100,000, maybe 1,000 times more successful for us than like Product Hunt would be, for example. So yeah, the social media stuff I think is a really accessible channel to people who are earlier stage than us, getting something off the ground.
Yeah. And I think you guys are doing a very, very good job. So congrats. Thanks for the time. We really appreciate it.
This is super fun.
Likewise, pleasure to chat, and congrats on your round too.
Cheers, James.
Thanks.
Really appreciate it, man. Have a good one. Ciao, ciao.
That is the show.
Super fun.
Number 2, that is the show.
Woo!
Let's talk about 11 Labs, AI that communicates at human level across every channel modality, deploy conversational agents across every customer interaction, and create on-brand content at scale. Let's close out the show. We'll see you soon.
Like a nice, we sound.
Can I mute my mic? I didn't realize I could do that.